someone told me you got to get the meatball sub. It's very good. I ordered the meatball sub, and then I see like one of those cheesy like signs, like something's on sale of the cheeseburger. And then I asked them, what's up with the cheeseburger? And they're like, oh, we hand patty the burger. We bake our own bun. And I go, a pizza place making like a hand patty burger, fresh bun. I ordered it, and it was so good. I took out my Motorola Razr, and I snapped a picture.
The Razr.
Snapped a picture of that in the pizza.
How was the do you have the picture of that?
I do. Do you want to see it?
Man, I would love to see that. On a Razr?
Welcome to Banco Podcast. It's a podcast sandwich. I'm Nick Jiménez. I'm joined as usual by 8th grade basketball MVP, chef and dad cap model, Michael Beltran.
Yep, that's true. It's true.
We are joined by Petey the dog. That's Petey the dog on Instagram, P-E-A-T-Y the dog, as well as this episode's guest, Sef Burger Beast González.
Golf clap everywhere.
By the way, since you didn't bring it up, and you're talking about 8th grade, in 2nd grade, I got first place haiku in the Dade County Youth Fair.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh,
muy
man.
importante en español.
I hope you said it just like that.
I mean, so this must be as majestic of a podcast as the one with Ricardo.
Oh, man.
Right?
Majestic is a good word for what we do around here.
Yeah, I think majestic is a good word.
Charlie Bronson is Mr. Majestic.
Seth, what's up, man?
How's it going? Aki?
Yeah. I feel like that's, everyone's just kind of like, yeah, man, we're just here. We made it to 2021, and we're doing the thing.
I was at Chug's and just wandered over here, and this was going on.
Yeah, I know. You were at Chug's, and you were knocking on the door, and then I want a breakfast sandwich, and then you saw it wasn't open. Before we get started, I heard you had an issue because I in a previous episode, I may have called you an influencer, and I just want to apologize ahead of time. I would never mean to call you an influencer. I feel like that's dirty talk. And for you, I love you very much, and I would never. You are a trailblazer, sir.
Ay, coño.
Yeah, you are a
caballero, la cosa está buena aquí.
Yeah, I know. You are a trailblazer. All the kids are just trying to be like you, and I would never call you a bad word like that.
Thank you. Thank you. It hurt my heart.
I don't even remember doing that, but yeah. So, all
I
right.
was so angry, I watered down my espresso.
Oh, man. Woof. You watered down your espresso, huh? You must have gone to Starbucks or Le Pan or something. I don't know. How do we start this off? There's so many layers to you. You're like you're an onion. You're an onion. There's lots of layers to get to the core of you. Should we talk about how you became a trailblazer before we get into talking shit about Larry Carino?
Who's Larry Carino?
Exactly. Who he's not. Is he not? He's not a real movie buff. But
No. Without a doubt.
Before we start talking about those things, let's tell people why you are a trailblazer, how you became a trailblazer, and how you influence people like myself.
Oh, you want me to?
No, I'll say that story.
Oh,
but you
so you can be my abuelita here. You say all the nice things.
I'll do my best. Abuelita says nice things about you?
Look.
I'm shocked.
When people talk to me and I go, I need an abuelita. I lost my grandmother about 20 years ago. She always talked very nice about me. Very nice.
Oh, man. They usually
Very
do,
nice.
I guess. Yeah, you're right. Tell people the story. Why you are the Burger Beast, how you became the Burger Beast. I know that before you were the Burger Beast, you horror movies, right?
Right.
A shop. So let's take them back. When Seth was playing in the yard with Max Santiago while he was making donuts, while he was thinking about donuts and dreaming about cookies.
Well, to be exact, in Westchester, Max and his brother Enrique lived down the street from me. I mean, if we really want to bring up Max and his bowl haircut that he had.
He doesn't have that anymore?
Well, he kind of does.
He does.
He does. He's got bangs, you know.
Right.
He 90'd it up a little bit. And so, no, Max and I were actually, that was the era of Hulk Hogan.
I love that.
So actually, a couple years ago for my birthday, he gave me some LJN, which are the wrestling figures that were like full on plastic, like rubber, for my birthday. And he goes, "These are the same ones we used to play with when we were kids," which is ridiculous. That he
Max
still had them.
Gave that to you a couple years ago?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. He gave me George the Animal Steel, Jesse the Body Ventura, and the Killer Bees.
Love that.
I should have brought him here and just set him here.
Just put him right. I mean, we're on YouTube right now. We have a large following on YouTube. We're big overseas.
Me too.
Yeah.
I just realized this week that I have on Facebook more followers in Venezuela than I have in the United States.
What?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Venezuela?
Yeah.
Well, why there? Any idea?
There's a period of time that I had a bunch of people coming from Venezuela to visit the museum.
Really?
So I think it might have something to do with that.
This episode of Pan Con Podcast is brought to you by our sponsor, Drew Estate and master blender Willie Herrera, who are proud to introduce the Herrera Estelí Miami cigar.
Crafted by Level 9 Cuban rollers at El Titán de Bronce in Calle Ocho, the complete Herrera Estelí Miami line is expertly rolled with a lavish Ecuadorian Habano Oscuro wrapper over a rich Ecuadorian Sumatran binder with select fillers from the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. The new look of Herrera Estelí Miami features a black and gold color tone and is available in the following 5 vitolas. Nick, tell everyone, what is a vitola?
A vitola, and by the way, I would like everyone listening to this ad to know, this is the first take, and we're doing very well.
I am shocked. I have no idea what's going on, and I have to say it's because of the anxious coffee that Nick has made.
Oh, man. Just wait for the poops. A vitola, the term vitola refers to the sizes of the cigars, right? So some of the common ones that people hear are Robusto and Corona and Churchill. Those are all terms for vitolas. The 5 vitolas that
I want to interrupt you because it's not always about the size of the cigar.
That's true.
It is the type of cigar. So tell them.
That's true. So the five vitolas that Herrera Estelí comes in are Herrera Estelí Miami Robusto Grande, 5x50. Should we go with like anglicized pronunciations? Is it because your name is on the sandwich? Is this a Robusto Grande or a Robusto Grande?
I mean, it depends. How do you feel like our listeners in Salina would feel?
I want them to feel like it's Robusto Grande.
Bueno, that's a good vitola.
So Robusto Grande, which is a 5x50. By the way, for the uninitiated, 5x50 means it is 5 inches long and 50/64ths of an inch in diameter. So close to 5'6". So just so you have painting a picture here in your mind. Robusto Grande, which is a 5x50, Toro Especial, which is 6x52, Lonsdale Deluxe, a 6.5x44, Pirámide Fino, 6.5x54, Short Corona Gorda, which is 5 3/4x48. This cigar is exclusive to Drew Diplomat retailers. For more information, you can visit drewestate.com. That's DREW estate.com. Or follow them at Drew Estate Cigar on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Mike, you had this cigar. I know that you're a Drew Estate fan.
I am a Drew Estate fan.
I'm very glad that they've come on as a partner. As a general rule, I want to make sure that to the extent that we can, and we've pulled this off so far, we're only partnering with people and taking money from people whose products we're actually into.
Like Santos.
Absolutely like Santos Sangria.
Santos Sangria.
I actually have told them, like, I'll give you an ad because I'm out of Santos Sangria.
Right. I have to say that after going through this ad, one of the things that sticks out to me the most is how very much I feel like this is softcore Cinemax porn at 11 o'clock. Explain to everyone a rich Ecuadorian Sumatran binder, how that doesn't sound very sexual.
Listen, I don't know that the people at Drew Estate would object to our selling them as a sexual product.
Yeah.
But in case anybody's curious about what that even means, so Ecuadorian Sumatran binder.
So Sumatran is not a style of...
That's the thing.
Of sexual style.
It's not a sexual style.
Got it.
I mean, although some people do sexual things with their cigars.
All right.
Listen, you open this door.
Man, we fucked this ad up already. Jeez.
No, but Ecuadorian Sumatran. That might sound confusing to people who know their geography because Ecuador and Sumatra are both places. It is a Sumatran binder, meaning that it is a variety of tobacco named for Sumatra, but it was grown in Ecuador. And you see this a lot in cigars where you have an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, which means that it's a Connecticut tobacco variety, but grown in Ecuador. People who listen to this podcast are going to hear us smoke. Pretty soon, we're going to have Willie Herrera, the master blender, on as a guest on the podcast. If you're curious about cigars, that is definitely one you want to tune in for.
I have to say that I smoke a pretty good wide range of cigars, and I gravitate towards Drew Estate a lot. I think that how consistent and good those cigars are is like very rare. And we've talked about that a lot. Like, sometimes you'll get a cigar and then it'll be great, and then you go back to get it like 6 months later and it's just not as good. Right. I've never had that experience with Drew Estate stuff, and it's like, I don't know. I've been a fan for a long time, way before they started paying me to say I was a fan.
Right.
Way before.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. No, we've been to cigar shops together more than once. You've pointed out Drew Estate things.
But that's what
I've smoked that, and that's awesome.
The red label Herrera Esteli I smoke every week.
Yeah.
Every week it'll be the first, like, when I go to one of these places, I'll go, that's the first thing I grab, and then I'll go into something else second if I decide to smoke 2 or 3 that day.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because I want to make a distinction here. You referenced the one that has the red label on it.
Red and gold, yeah.
And that's the core Herrera Esteli, which is made in Esteli. Esteli is the Nicaraguan sort of capital of cigar making. The Herrera Esteli Miami that we'd been talking about is actually made, and this is referenced in the copy that we read, but El Titán de Bronce in Little Havana. So this is also a cigar that you want to go after, and I remember I passed this along to one of our friends in the social media sphere who was putting together a list of local businesses, and I said, hey, you might want to check out El Titán de Bronce. And El Titán in Little Havana is not just in Miami, but in the country, one of a very, very small number of American cigar factories that actually distribute all over the place. So it's cool that, that this is a product that people everywhere have access to. And it comes from a small factory in Miami that has a very good reputation, not just all over the country, but all over the world.
Somebody gave me one of these Miami ones for Christmas, so it was delicious.
Merry Christmas. So, again, this cigar is exclusive to Drew Estate, to Drew Diplomat retailers. For more information, drewestate.com, or follow them, Drew Estate Cigar, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
We expect sales to go up 20% after this ad.
I might cut that out.
Did you get? Were you covered in a newspaper in Venezuela or something?
No, but Venezuela's a big burger country. Venezuela, Chile is now, Brazil is. So all these countries, and also because I speak Spanish, and any of the other, I guess, burger people in the country do not speak Spanish.
Makes sense.
I think that's probably why they. And I also post pictures of just not only burgers. I write about other, foods. So.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to. You didn't know where I went to high school?
No, I didn't.
All right, I graduated from St. Brendan.
Woo! One of the few males.
Pero I went to Belén for 4 years.
Oh! What?
This is news to me too.
I am shocked, but you're not. Oh man, it's gross. I'm sorry. This is a lot for me to take in. It's just so much.
And this is where Mike walks off the podcast.
All right, and that's the podcast.
Because you're from Columbus, you're going to start with this shenanigans.
I didn't start with anything. I'm shocked. I didn't know that. I thought other things. I have no idea.
I went, man, and one of my and I'm going to say that I had a great time my last 2 years. I did not get kicked out of Belén. I chose to leave, and I regret it. I'm still friends with all the guys, and they include me as part of their class. But I graduated from St. Brendan. That's what happens when your parents let you make decisions when you shouldn't be making decisions.
Meant for others and all.
I'm sorry, I didn't play football like you in Columbus.
Yeah, no, you didn't. So then, after you graduated from St. Brendan, what was next?
After I went to Arbetters.
Okay. I think we all went to Arbetters at that time. Everyone was at Arbetters. And now apparently there's a Nathan's down the street.
I went to Miami-Dade for a couple of years. Didn't really do very, very much. And then I started working at Best Buy when Best Buy first opened. And I did retail management. Actually, during that time, something I never really discussed is my friend had a punk rock band out of Hialeah, and I financed the release of his 45.
Really?
The band was called 3240, yeah.
Wow.
3240. My label was called Inkbox. And I look at the graphic because it was so bad. Like, the logo was drawn by me, and it's so bad. I'll send
Do you
it to
still
you guys.
have it?
I have a vinyl.
Can we make a Pongo Podcast t-shirt of that terrible logo? I would love that.
Inkbox?
Super into it.
I'm so into that.
And what I love is I had a mailbox. I think, was it called Mailboxes, etc.? Like before.
Yeah.
So I would go there, and I had a P.O. box, and I thought for some reason people would send me mail. And I remember going with my friend one day, and we opening, and you go at 3 a.m. thinking like, let me go at 3 a.m. And all of a sudden I stick my. I remember I was like, no, nothing in here.
Nah, it's still empty. It's cool. I got another issue of Cabela's. We're solid. Everything's fine.
Yeah, the only catalog I ever got was, I think, the little bags to put the 45s in. You know, like the company that sold me the stuff.
So Best Buy, like, when did we get into, like, the whole horror film? Like, how did the Burger Beast come to be? I want to know the fucking...
Origin story there.
Yeah, the raw story of how you catapulted yourself into trailblazerness. There needs to be a story, something very
right after that,
very majestic.
I was
majestic.
I did media. I ran the media department at the Best Buy in Westchester. Not a surprise where I was at. I also want to say I did work at the Play World in Westchester, but that has nothing to do with it. But I just want to bring that up.
The Best Buy in Westchester, that's the one across from Tropical?
Right.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah, it's been there for how long?
That's really Westchester. I mean, let's not talk about people like on the other side that pretend they're in Westchester. This is the real Westchester.
That was a big topic last time we did a podcast.
You don't want to get into it with me because the reality is, Frankie's Pizza isn't really in Westchester, but we're not going to get into that.
So what is that technically?
It's called Olympia Heights.
Olympia Heights?
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I remember Westchester being 8th Street to Bird, both sides, the Palmetto to the Turnpike. That's what I always thought it was. But even though the sign is kind of makes it seem that way, it's really not when you look it up.
Right.
I don't understand why. So it's just easier to just say it's Westchester, but Dave Arbiter
Can I tell
makes
you
fun of me.
a small, like, nostalgic story for me about Westchester? Like,
Do you have to?
I will. My name is on the fucking sandwich, so I do what I want here, Seth. Don't you dare question me. So, I don't know why, and I've lived in Little Havana and, like, the Grove and the Gables now my entire, like, adult life. But when I drive that whole, like, Westchester side, it's just, like, very nostalgic. I feel, like, very much at home. I know where everything is. I know where all the stuff is. And it's still... I still find it as, like, the most comfortable area in all of Miami to live in. You know, like, if you were to live in any of those homes, you can get anything you want, anywhere you want, at all times within 10 minutes, which in Miami is super fucking rare, right? There's a bunch of good schools there, a bunch of good shit to eat. It's just, like, I think it's such an underappreciated neighborhood.
I agree, and it's very close to being kind of the center of Miami.
Of actual Miami, yeah.
Yeah, and when people would come to town, other bloggers or other chefs that I have befriended, and they came, I'd be like, I got to take you to Arbiter's, I got to take you to these places. I would take them, to El Rey or whatever I thought kind of underappreciated. And one of the main things, and I'm sure we'll get into it after, because I want to finish the story of how I got to being Burger Beast, but if you notice, I try to stay in the Kendall, Westchester, Hialeah. You don't see me write too much about the beach or Wynwood. I don't really delve into those areas. I come here.
They don't need you. They get stroked plenty.
Well, that's exactly how I feel.
Stroked by people that aren't as good at what you do or what they're supposed to be doing.
So right around, I was 24, 25. I decided I was going to open a movie store. Marcella, who was my girlfriend at the time, and now my wife. I had this idea. I wanted to open a movie store, a cult film store in the middle of Westchester on 95th and Bird.
Great.
And I called it Oh the Horror. Now, as you can imagine, that store and a sign, Marcella actually painted a giant, like 8-foot coffin that said Oh the Horror, and we put it on the street on a post. And most people were like, what in the world is that? Yeah. There's a pumpkin on the sign above the store. And there's actually a post on my site where I kind of post anything. I unfortunately lost almost all the pictures I took in the store when my old computer crased. I was able to salvage a few things, and I did come out in the newspaper a few times, so you can see a younger Burger Beast. Coño, qué popular I am.
Oh, you can't even turn off the ringer for the podcast. Wow.
No.
Yeah, kiddo, bro.
Actually, let me do one better. Let me turn my phone off.
Who is that? Is that Larry calling you?
Alo Cubano.
Oh, yeah? Yeah? How's he doing?
Good.
Man, I haven't seen that guy in a long time.
Yeah. I'm going to tell him, thank you for interrupting my shit, motherfucker. And so I had the store. I did it for a couple of years. It's one of those things I think I was kind of a little bit ahead of the curve. Hot Topic was kind of starting to get popular. And,
Hot Topic.
And I focused, it was rental sales, and then we sold a lot of Nightmare Before Christmas toys. That was something Marcella and I were into. We were buying toys from Japan and then reselling them there. We had all those giant posters. We had a giant Scarface poster I had to deal with every day, a bunch of knuckleheads coming in and imitating him. thinking they were funny, and thinking that was the first time I had ever heard "Say Hello to My Little Friend," and also thinking the first time I'd ever heard that stupid sandwich line that everyone thinks they're the only ones who knows that line in the film.
¿Qué sandwich? Yeah.
Que más carne ni más carne.
Yeah, that's right.
Voy a hacer, compadre, jamón, ponle jamón.
¿Qué más carne ni más carne? Así viene sandwich, man.
Oh, man, I haven't seen that movie in so long, dude.
Yeah, well, you should keep it that way. And so, I like movies like that look like I feel like it's a real Cuban.
Yeah.
Eso está hacky.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. No opinions here?
Oh, you can have all the opinions. All the opinions here.
And at the store for a few years, it was a struggle. I ended up selling. I didn't even reference this. I play guitar, and I ended up selling all my guitars just to pay the rent, and it became one of those things like I ran out of things to sell that I could use to keep paying the rent, and we had to unfortunately shut down. And I went back to my retail life, and I just got to the point I was when the Burger Beast blog started, I was at Metro PCS. I was a store manager in Coral Gables. If you really look at the original posts, mostly were in Coral Gables because it was me going on my lunch break trying to find somewhere to eat in the area. But it was my frustration with the management in the company that made me decide I needed to do something different. And Marcella said, I think you should write a blog, because people would always ask me, hey, where do you think I should go eat? I kind of knew places just that had the best this or the best that. And I couldn't figure out what I wanted to call it. I wanted to call it, now that's a tasty burger, because I love Pulp Fiction.
This is a tasty burger.
And so I end up, she's like, you should start a blog. This is around February 2008, and she's the one who said Burger Beast. She's like, you should call it Burger Beast. And I went, it was available on GoDaddy, I bought it. That was in February of 2008. And I didn't know anything about blogging. I didn't even know how to start a blog. And I went to a place called Eastside Pizzeria, which I grew up going there when I would go visit my cousins in North Miami. And it used to be called Flores when I was a kid. As you know, I like to throw in some history.
Yeah, no, throw in all the history.
I like to
it.
pepper
Yeah,
it in.
put a little pepper on there, a little pepper,
And,
cracked pepper.
And so I went there, and someone told me, you got to get the meatball sub. It's very good. I ordered the meatball sub, and then I see like one of those cheesy like signs, like something's on sale of the cheeseburger. And then I asked them, what's up with the cheeseburger? And they're like, oh, we hand patty the burger. We bake our own bun. And I go, a pizza place making like a hand patty burger, fresh bun. I ordered it, and it was so good. I took out my Motorola Razr, and I snapped a picture.
The Razr.
Snapped a picture of that in the pizza.
How was the do you have the picture of that?
I do. Do you want to see it?
Man, I would love to see that. On a Razr? What year is this? 1964?
Well, you just made me turn my phone off, so.
No, not off. You don't turn it off. Just, like you don't even need to turn like the sound off.
Well, we'll get to it once this high-tech thing gets back on. And so I went there, and I got home, and that night, which was, I believe it was September 10th, I opened a Blogger account. I started as The Burger Beast, and I just did my first post. I want to be clear that I never meant for The Burger Beast to be me. It was actually just meant to be, that was the name of the blog. People just assumed that I had just named myself The Burger Beast. And so they would call me Beast or Burger Beast, and I was like, I'm not going to battle. That's like an uphill battle that I didn't want to get into, Here's the picture of the pizza from that day.
Look at that shit.
That's from that day?
Yeah. And then...
How was the pizza compared to the burger, though?
Well, the pizza I always found it to be good, It's funny when I look at these things.
Motorola Razr. Wait, but what year is this?
2008.
I don't know why I feel like the Razr's from like 2000.
No. I mean, maybe
There you go.
Maybe there was a Razr then too, but
There you go.
Oh man, what a picture! That's amazing. Eastside Burger. Wow, it's such a shit picture. God, fucking damn it.
And the funniest part, back then, that was like, oh shit, there's food pictures on the web.
yeah.
You didn't even have to do a cheese pull or anything on this thing. That's fucking wild.
I've never done a cheese pull.
There's no bikini. There's no cheese pull.
What gets really funny is like when I decide I want to up my game, I got a digital camera, and I'm in restaurants and they're all disgruntled because I'm taking my phone out to take pictures.
I understand it.
And some of the funnier things, because I always kind of covered because of the historical side, I always covered like some of the fast food stuff. When Burger King was debuting their Whopper bar on the beach, I went there with a friend of mine, and then we went in there and took pictures, and they lost their shit over it.
Oh, yeah?
And we ordered food, and I was having like a Budweiser with my Whopper, and they actually told me that I had to leave because we had been snapping pictures. Oh, what's funny is like we had already taken the pictures. I don't know really why would they have cared at that point. I already snapped the pictures. I just bought this food. You're gonna try and kick me out, and we're like, I promise I will not. I don't remember what promise. And then I also, as I was leaving the Burger King by their headquarters, same thing when they had just redone the inside, they told me to leave. But mostly it was people didn't want, because camera phones were garbage, as you saw.
Yeah.
So then I started carrying a little digital camera, and then you're in a restaurant. Now, of course, it's so commonplace. Back then,
now
to take out a digital
they
camera,
set you up a booth.
Yeah.
Sir, can I get you a booth? Can we put extra cheese in your whatever the fuck you're eating so you could pull the fuck out of it?
And it was just a different world. I remember posting. I kind of spent most of my days defending the fact that I wasn't getting the food for free, and now it's different because now it kind of reversed. It's like people no one fucking asks, "Hey, are you getting that food for free?" People just like, I still don't want free food. I want to pay for the food. I want to write about whoever I like.
Fucking guy. I'm sorry, but asking for fucking freebies makes you a fucking shit person. There's restaurants every day are struggling to survive, and that whole like, well, we're doing a service to you, man. Fuck you and your service. That is not real service. Like, you don't even understand the shit that you're fucking talking about half the time, and that's the reality of it. Like, I'm going on a tangent, and I'm sorry, I'm interrupting your fucking story. My bad. I've had a long day.
All right.
But the reality of it is that someone like you, and I've said this several times, the things that you write about, you know a lot about. You know history about them, bro. We have been texting at 3 a.m. about fritas before. And
how dare you? That's not true.
That is absolutely accurate.
You don't even have my phone number.
Fuck off. You remember the frita carrito that I always talked about wanting to do, and then you sent me this whole thing.
Oh my God, I got a badass picture someone sent me of a carrito the other day. You're going to lose your mind. Yes, I do remember that conversation.
But just saying, like, the things that you actually care about, you write about, and you know a lot about. So your opinion, albeit I disagree sometimes, is very accurate. You know what I'm saying? We got sidetracked. This is very normal for us to get sidetracked. Where were we? We're talking about
the Burger Beast origin story.
The
burger with the pizza. The
burger with the pizza.
And then the Motorola Razr.
Dreadful picture that you took of a fucking burger.
Well, I'm sure the next few pictures are just as dreadful.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, did you always have like a thing for burgers, or was it just
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Always. And one of the things that I want to be clear about with my site and even my Instagram, I don't consider myself a photographer, so I'm not.
Oh no,
I'm not preoccupied with getting things perfect. I'm just trying to get them how they actually look. My wife will be like, Marcella's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you posted that. Did you see that? You could have." And I'm like, I don't really care. I'm just trying to post. This is what's happening now, and that's what it is. I'm not trying to do. That's why I don't care about cheese bowls or any of that stuff. I'm like, if you follow me, it's because you want to find out someplace cool that you should go eat from, some great business you should support. That's the reason to follow me. If you're following me because you want to see beautiful, and sometimes I get lucky, you know. Yesterday I put a really beautiful fritanga picture of the carne asada. I don't know if you guys saw it. I didn't even take that. My wife did.
Makes sense why it's a beautiful picture.
Well, she's Nicaraguan also, so I think it's got some pride in the.
I don't know whether Mike has eaten it, but I brought him his first nacatamal.
I haven't. I actually have that with chivo that someone brought me, ready to be eaten today after this podcast.
I love taking people who have never had a fritanga experience to a fritanga so they can get abused, because the Nicaraguan ladies, it's not that they're mean, they're just like direct and to the point. They're like, Proximo! Because if you go to a Cuban restaurant, and this is said by my wife Marcella, she's like, you go to a Cuban restaurant, mi amor.
They call you up.
Yeah. You go to they're like, next, like move it.
Little churrasco Nazi.
Yeah. I took...
Where's the best fritanga in Miami?
Caña Brava, which is the picture I posted yesterday. I love that.
Don't you and your wife have a big disagreement about this, or is that...
No, I actually reposted, because I've been revamping my site the last year during the pandemic. I just revamped the post about that. The story about that is that because I'm Cuban, I'm not allowed to have an opinion on Nicaraguan food.
That's
so with her family. So what happens is, I tell her, hey, and I wrote about this on the blog. I'm like, oh my God, I saw this fritanga. It looks like it's brand new. We got to go there. And she's like, she pretty much blows me off. Like, who cares? Like, because you're, you know. And then I find that amusing because I get it. I guess I get it. It doesn't bother me. I'm not gonna lose sleep over something like that. But I mentioned it to her a couple of times. A few weeks later, she's like, I'm with her. She's with her sister-in-law. She just discovered a new fritanga. I'm gonna bring you food. And I go, which one? And I was like, unbelievable. The one that I told her.
The one that you told her to go to.
And that's in question the same.
It's incredible the influence that people want to take and then not take. Because they're like, no, but your opinion's going to be better than your opinion, so I'll take it. And then
I'm perfectly fine. I mean, like, I also, like, I kind of stay away from using the word authentic with things. Because I'm like, I'm Cuban, but I didn't live in Cuba, so I don't really know that the dish is particularly authentic.
Well, I mean, to find true authenticity is very difficult.
So when you talk about Mexican, you want real deal Mexican, go to the Redlands or whatever. I'm like, look, I know Mexicans who go to Mi Rinconcito Mexicano, which I love.
Yeah.
And they tell me that's real deal. So I don't know who to believe. I've been to Mexico a handful of times. I mean, I'm not an expert, but there's things that obviously I know about. I love tamales. That's something I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But getting back, because I keep deviating into different
This
foods.
is the world of deviation. You just deviate off subject. Things are happening.
So I started the blog. I was working full time. I think it was like the third or fourth post. Someone comments who I didn't know. Someone left a comment. Obviously, I was putting it on my personal Facebook. Someone I didn't know left a comment, and I was like, who's that? I hadn't even considered the fact that people I didn't know were reading what I was writing. And then it kind of started growing, and by July, so the blog was at, I don't know, maybe 7 months, 8 months. No, my math is bad. 10 months.
10 months, got it. Not 7.
I would eat at John Martin's Irish pub a lot. It was across the street from the store manager. I knew the owners, I knew the general manager, and I said, hey, do you mind if I do something here? Just invite some of the people who read my blog. It was a Monday night. They were normally dead on Mondays. And we had 52 people show up. And that's when I was like, wow.
That's cool.
That was in July 2009. I had just done my first road trip in February of 2009. Then I went to Atlanta with a few friends of mine to eat at some burger joints I wanted to try out. So, like, you could kind of see the blog itself already forming, like, what I was going to be doing with events. And then when it turned 1 year, I always would throw myself a birthday party. So I said, I should throw a party for the 1 year of the blog. And I decided to call it the Burgies, because there's an Emmys and there's all that stuff, so I would call it the Burgies. And I decided to make it an award thing. I asked all the food bloggers that existed at that point.
So it was like 3.
No, it was more than 3, but it was like Steve Berry. Chow Father. Rod Nezer.
Ever complicated Chow Father. Rod Nezer, which is an amazing
God, we could do a whole episode of my relationship with the Chow Father. And so, Rosendorf, David Rosendorf, of course.
What an amazing human, David Rosendorf.
He's awesome. Yeah. And even though he even says, like, him and I agree probably on, like, 5% of things.
Yeah, but that's cool. Being able to disagree and still be friends. Look at me and Nick. Yeah, that's why we're here.
And so, yeah, I decide, I get all these people to vote. I decide I was going to do awards that kind of didn't exist. I did, obviously, the obvious best burger. I did best frita. I did best croqueta, best beef.
Who won best frita that year?
Mago.
Wow. I mean,
Mago won. We had best croqueta was Islas. That's when I first met Eileen and John.
I mean,
they were just.
They've been dominating that market for a long time, bro.
They were just kids. If I show you the picture, you'd be like, "Wow."
I mean, they're still young, so I can only imagine 2009, fucking 12 years ago, even younger.
Yeah. They were. That's why I feel like they're like my cousins. Cause I've like seen them get older. When they took a food truck that I came over and I sat down with them and they were doing the Cuban Cube.
Yeah, I remember.
People kind of forget the Cuban Cube, and kind of I think that's where I think the inspiration. I don't know because they've never told me. I think the inspiration for Finca came from there. Like, it seemed like there were some of those dishes kind of became the Finca dishes initial menu.
Yeah, I mean, they translated much better to an actual location than they did on a food truck.
Yeah. I mean, I used to go up to their truck, and even though they had, I think they had a thing called the Cow Witch or something like that, and I would only just get croquetas. I'll take croquetas.
I mean, the croquetas are amazing. Yeah. Honestly, the croquetas, and I don't know if she has them at Finca, but the croquetas at Amelia, the oxtail ones, are fucking incredible.
Not sure. I haven't been there in a while. And usually, I've become the drive-through La Canaria guy. I go through the
Have
drive-through
you?
and just get croquetas.
I can't tell you last time I went to the drive-thru. Randomly, totally off subject. Before we get back to your story, which is super important since you're the guest, but the croquetas
Gracias,
at
abuela.
the Floridita croquetas are fucking delicious.
They're like toletones, dude. They're like the ham one is like
Yeah, and then whenever I get there, right, they're always out, so they make them fresh. And fucking A, man. Like,
You go to which one? The Westchester one?
no, I go to the one all the way.
By Kexal.
Yeah, the one in Kendall, like deep Kendall, right by the airport. And man, like, always out. They always take 20 minutes, and I don't care because honestly, they're in the top 4 croquetas in the city when they come out like that. They are fucking delicious, man. Love them.
You know what they have that's really good there?
Tell me.
I don't eat seafood, by the way.
I know,
very,
and
very
I
little.
hate that all they have is like a bunch of seafood that I don't want.
Fettuccine Alfredo is very good there.
It's so fucking random, man.
Well, because I looked at their menu and I was in the Ventanita in Westchester and I get croquetas and then I'm like, what could I possibly want here? And I see fettuccine Alfredo. I'll give it a shot.
So did you get a fettuccine Alfredo from a Ventanita?
Yes.
That's incredible. That's great.
That's how, like, that's only a thing that'll ever happen in Miami.
I feel like that's another field trip. We gotta tack on to our.
What's in our field trip category right now?
Well, at the risk of deviating this too much more,
We're all about deviating.
Yeah,
it's fine.
we've talked about
We got all
doing a fritanga
Oh yeah.
specifically for a nagatamal because the one that I brought you I thought was good, but it's not a restaurant nagatamal.
Okay.
We've got this croqueta, and then something came up with Derek.
Randomly, I think we should take a road trip to Arbetters also,
Sure.
just because I love them.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
As
I mean, Arbetters is
as long as
amazing.
we're
right?
driving around eating.
You're not going to go to Nathan's on the street?
No, I'm not.
Neither am I.
I mean,
Never.
you'll never
Fucking
go. I was going to ask
never.
you if you've actually
Fucking
gone.
never.
Okay, so to give people in Salina, Kansas, because we have a huge following in Salina. We have a total of like 10 followers in Salina.
Well,
They
you know
listen-
that's good for you because I got following in Lansing, Michigan.
What? We're about to tap all kinds of fucking markets. Ad money is about to start flowing in here. It's crazy. Arbetters, legendary hot dog spot in Miami. It's on Bird, right? Bird? Mm-hmm. Bird and 89th?
87. Yeah,
No, but it's right after 87th.
right. But that's still 87.
It's not 87th.
All right.
If it's
You say-
after
if you say
87th, it's
so.
not on 87th.
If you say so.
No, it's accurate. If it's not on 87th, it's after 87th.
I think you're just trying to argue with me something you're not even sure about.
No, I'm accurate. It's got to be. That has to be. It's mathematics. 87th is here. It's 2 blocks over.
What about the Papa John's that used to be a KFC? What's the address of that?
Fucking no, man. It's
Oh, well,
crazy.
you let me down.
Anyways, Arbetter's been around for how long? You know.
If I had to guess,
No,
I
you
would
don't
say
guess. You know. You know.
1959. Yeah.
1959.
Our betters is at 8747.
That does not make any sense.
Because it's after.
It's after 87.
What? It has to eventually get
it's
to
a
88.
block after.
It's between 87th and 88th.
It's not really a
87th.
block.
Unless
They're-
it was literally at the intersection.
I don't know.
It's right after the bank. And by the way, that bank used to be a Royal Castle. Not that you asked, but I'm going to let you know that anyway.
Arbetter's been there for 60 years, right? And they've been. I remember when I was at Columbus, in between 3-a-days, going to Arbetter's, getting a hot dog with my dad when I was a kid. The 2 spots that my dad would take me were either Linda Subs. Remember Linda Subs on 87th?
Mm-hmm.
That's something else now, right? And Arbetter's. And the move was at Linda's, get a cheeseburger bomb. Remember the cheeseburger bomb? It's basically a chopped cheese.
Yeah.
And then at
Like a loose meat hamburger, but go ahead.
it is a loose meat hamburger, yeah, in a roll. But and then at Arbetter's, it's still my order to this day is a kraut dog with mustard and chili cheese fries. That's always been the move. And then Nathan's hot dog, which I know very little about. I know very little about Nathan's. Opens up a large store 2 blocks away.
Right.
Not even during a pandemic.
It took them a few years to get open. I mean, they were
Well,
supposed
that
to be
mall
open.
was under construction.
Right. Well, I believe the guy who owns the property is the guy who's franchising the Nathan's.
The
So
guy.
it's like the guy who owns the property is actually the guy who built out the Nathan's, and he owns a franchise.
So basically, the guy who owns the property leased out a thing because he was like, "I'm gonna fuck over Arbetters."
that's what it would appear to be.
That's, I mean, if we're calling spades a spade, that's what it is.
My feeling
I got
is,
no interest in Westchester, so they're not trying to get me to open a restaurant there, so I don't give a fuck if we call this guy out.
My feeling is you could have opened anywhere in the city. So if you've decided to open 2 blocks down from our betters, it was not with good intent.
Of course not.
I am, I am friends with David Arbetter. I took high offense to that. I will never step foot in that.
Never.
Nathan's.
Never.
He knows it. He doesn't care. He told me he doesn't care if I go. He has actually gone to the Nathan's. And then
David has.
Yeah, David has. And he said, "You want to go with me?" And I go, "I will not."
What did David say about their hot dogs?
You should probably have him on and ask him.
I know. Listen, that's a good. The producer, David Arbetter, future guest.
Absolutely.
Come on, man.
Hey, I ask you all the time who you want to have on.
Yeah, but you never. Okay,
Or
let's
you
not.
should
go.
also
I
have
never-
Renee.
I never
You
what-
should
what?
also have Renee from Frankie's Pizza.
These are all great ideas. You should produce this thing.
No, I got enough problems.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. So, and then we actually have someone on live here, Deandra. Wonderful.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, no, you have. You've heard of Deandra. She's amazing.
She's awesome.
She would like to know if a hot dog is a sandwich.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a sandwich?
It is.
Yes.
What was my take on that? I don't remember. Did I say hot dog was a sandwich?
I don't know. I don't know what.
I mean, at this point, Carlos Frias is labeling fucking everything a sandwich, so I don't even fucking know.
He'll just let me know that he does believe. He wanted me to bring a pastelito and tell you it was a sandwich here.
That's absolutely not accurate, yeah?
A pastelito is absolutely not a sandwich.
It's a pastry, for fuck's sake.
No, he definitely got out of control.
Oh, it's totally out of control. At this point, it's hit mainstream media, and we're going to start cheese pulling all these sandwiches.
Anything on bread is a sandwich.
Anything on bread?
Yeah, in between 2 pieces of bread, I think is a
But
sandwich.
is a pita bread considered bread in your eyes?
If it's got bread in the name, I guess.
I mean, I don't know, but it's not like white bread. I swore to myself I was not going to do this today. I swore to myself I
brought
wasn't.
it up.
Well, I'll tell you
Deandra brought it up. I didn't bring it up.
I'll tell you what the real problem is today. I wanted to eat some hot dogs, and I only had pita bread, and I considered stuffing them into the pita bread.
No, but that's totally
and
fine.
Then I thought better of it, and I didn't do it.
Oh, then you should have just, at that point, you should have cooked some rice and just put the hot dogs in the rice.
As long as that I put those disgusting salchichas from the cans, yes.
Stop that. That is not disgusting. Those are amazing. Vienna sausages are incredible. Get a sear on them, then throw in your rice. A little scallion, a little lime.
So I think they're so revolting. There's this girl who told me that she was going to make me pigs in a blanket, and I was excited. She goes, "I'm going to bring it to your house." This is when I live with my parents. Shows up with a tray. I'm like, oh my God, she made me pigs in a blanket, and she made fucking salchichitas in a fucking blanket. Disgusting. And you should have seen the look on her face when I go, I will not eat that.
Man, that is rough.
I'm hardcore, baby.
That
No
is
way.
rough. Anyways, let's talk about how you became a trailblazer.
You should put that on your menu at Chug's.
What?
Vienna
I
sausage?
mean, I
Vienna
thought
sausage
about
on a blanket.
arroz con salchicha. I definitely thought about. I mean, it's Cuban fried rice.
You put manchego cheese, then you can charge $45 or whatever.
Manchego cheese. The regular manchego cheese is cheap as fuck. I mean, listen, let's talk about how you're a trailblazer, man. Stop. You're.
You know what? I bought a wheel of manchego cheese out at Mago for $20.
Listen,
that's my last manchego.
Manchego cheese with guava is fucking delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time. The guava paste, the really bad one, Guava George loves those.
He's actually the one who sent me that picture of the frita cart.
Of course he did. I think the only person that knows more history, as much history as you, would probably be Guava George.
I love that guy, but he can be a little too much. When we
I've never seen that.
When Carlos Frias was a judge at Croqueta Palooza, I'm on stage trying to rally all the judges up so we can announce the winner. I'm like, where's this freaking guy? I'm like, Carlos. I'm on the mic, Carlos. Has anyone seen Carlos Frias? I know Carlos Frias is here. And then I see Carlos in the distance coming, going like this. And when he gets up, he whispers to me, he's like, Guava George, he wouldn't let me go. I was caught in a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm like here waiting for him to get on stage to announce the winner. He's here.
I've been telling Nick forever that he should meet with Guava George so we could do like a fruit segment and he's just avoiding it at all costs.
I think that you should have him on and maybe do your first 6-hour episode.
I actually, when I considered having him on, I think I was just going to introduce the episode and walk away. I was just going to leave.
What I told Mike, and I've told Guava George, I actually said, I would love to actually just do a whole separate thing, but there is no 5-minute segment with Guava George. that you can have a weekly 3-hour podcast, and I think some people would be into it. I would be into it. But then we ran into his secret identity issues.
Yeah, no. Then he doesn't want them to know who he is.
Yeah, he doesn't want the guava manufacturers to know his true
He
identity.
doesn't want the guava manufacturers.
Well, he's such a character. He told me, I've been investigating. This was a couple of years ago, and I haven't heard from this story yet. Because I've been investigating all the lies in the Cuban bakeries. They're lying because the bags say they have lard, and they don't have lard. And he told me he had a list of which bakeries had lard. I know it's funny. I think he's being serious.
I believe it.
Yeah, I believe it 100%. If anyone's got a list of who's actually using manteca and who's not, it's Guava George.
For the Salina crowd, this is Cuban bread is made with lard.
Yes.
This is a thing that, in case people are not aware,
That's what I heard.
So now when I go to a bakery and I see the bag says lard, I'm like, I wonder.
I want Guava George. It's not on the list. It's not on Guava George's list.
On the approved list. He should make an approved list.
He should make
Approved Cuban bread list.
Yeah, top 10 lists. Top 10 list by Guava George would be such a long read. It would be such a long read. All right, so let's go back.
To where? I don't even know where we were.
Yeah, we were talking about, we were at the Pizza Burger. You had your first thing at John Martin's, right? 52 people showed up.
Yeah, that was in July. Then I did the Burgies. I didn't know what to expect. I had actually, at this point, spent money. I had some posters made. Didn't know how many people would show up. I was actually so stressed. John Martin's used to have a back room. I was there with a few friends of mine. And I was like, no one's going to freaking show up to this thing. And I go out, and the owner's like, this place is packed. You can't even walk in here. And I then started hyperventilating because I saw so many people in there.
Oh, yeah?
Really no space to walk. I had to kind of go around the back way. And I was off to the races, I guess, from there. I realized that I was onto something. You know, people were, I think, looking for something different than what was going on.
Was that 2010?
That was still 2009. That was September.
2009.
So it was a year. And within a year of that, the food truck thing kind of took off. I was already writing about burgers for a year, and then the food truck thing took off, and then I knew all the food truck owners because the first about 6 food trucks all had burgers. I was the only one who had their contact, and the Miami Herald approaches me. Yeah.
The Sakaya food truck burger was amazing.
Yeah.
It was so fucking good. I still think about that because that was such a great time. That burger at that time was so fucking good.
It was. And I remember meeting him at Sakaya. I went there, wrote about it, and I said it would be great if he had a double. The next day I come back, and if Richard tells you the story, he says that he saw me, he goes, I knew this. I knew you looked like a beast. I knew it had to be you. And so I was with a friend of mine. We order the regular burger, and then he adds a second patty because of what I had written. And then I realized that was way too much.
Yeah.
It was excessive.
That burger is it's a fucking mouthful, yeah?
Yeah. And
I think that's when I actually originally met you, when I was working on Richard's truck.
is that when we met?
I think so.
I remember the first time us really having a conversation was at that bread place in Coral
We don't
Gables.
speak about that place on here. He who must not be named.
It was right there,
Yeah.
right off of Miracle Mile.
Yeah. Not there anymore. No, I feel like I met you when I was working on the food truck with Richard, because I worked at Sakaya also, and then I worked for Norman also. That was the time when I had like 3 jobs. And, man, those food truck days were amazing. They were like...
You know Norman beat Emerald in arm wrestling?
I believe that.
Yeah. He sent me a picture.
Did he? Do you have the picture?
I think it might be on my blog. I interviewed Norman. I used to have a segment for interviewing people. And I knew that he was friends with Emerald, so I thought it would be funny. I said, who would win? Not knowing they had actually arm wrestled. And he responded, I did. And the picture's him like with the arm down on Emerald.
I believe it. Norman's hardcore, man. That's my mentor.
just got to kick it up a notch.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Hey.
Bam! Bam! Bam!
Remember when that guy was the only thing on Food Network?
Oh, man. Well, he wasn't the only thing, but he was the biggest thing.
Right.
You
Well,
know.
I mean, it seemed like his show was always on, or maybe I just happened to be flipping through at the time.
I mean, his was like on during like prime time hours, and then, you know, like when they play reruns at like 3:30 in the morning, they was playing just more Emerald. And then all of a sudden, Richard's best friend came on the scene, and then it all changed. Guy Fieri just took over
I
the
met
scene.
him at the South Beach Wine and Food Festival that year. Guy, my wife was at, I don't take pictures with anybody. I don't want to be in a picture. And she's like, you got to take a picture with him. I'm like, I don't want a picture with anybody. And then she goes, "Can you take a picture with my husband?" And then he actually puts his arm around both of us.
Okay.
And I have a picture from that day. But he's actually very nice, and I've met him since a couple of other times. He's been very cool. Even though he kind of got angry at me when I was at Latin House because I kind of interrupted the filming twice.
Perfect. Love that. I actually have come to a place that I very much respect and like Guy Fieri a lot.
He's a cool dude, man.
I mean, he's done a lot more than a lot of like big name fine dining chefs have in the last year and a half, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, everybody else, all they're doing is just opening restaurants in Miami. So
I know. I mean, are you coming to pillage the neighborhood, or are you coming to be a part of it? That's the question, right?
that's the other thing. I don't go to any of those restaurants either.
You don't.
No.
So what if they have like a famous burger? You're not gonna go?
Who cares?
I went to.
You haven't asked me why don't I eat Shake Shack?
Wait, you don't eat Shake Shack?
Huh? I do.
Oh, you do.
But I would say, Shake Shack integrates itself in the neighborhood and gets involved with charities locally.
I think Shake Shack is. Yeah, they are that. It's kind of like. I don't like. Okay. Let me frame this. How do you feel about Five Guys and Shake Shack?
As far as what the difference is, or which one I like?
I mean, do you enjoy one more than the other? Are there severe differences in the two of them, etc.?
Yeah, I think a closer comparison would be BurgerFi and Shake Shack, not Five Guys. And
Time out. Peter wants to know about the butterfly.
Look, he claims that I used to do the butterfly dance, or whatever you want to call it.
Peter, one of our former guests here on the podcast, is claiming that Sef does the butterfly dance. Is there any
He also claims that I wear shorts that I go I pick them up like this, and then I would do the dance. Absolutely not true.
Don't let him off the hook, he says.
Not about the shorts. About just don't let him off the hook.
He did it once, he says.
I've never done any such thing. I got plenty of stories about that dude. I mean,
Do you have plenty of stories about Peter?
I got plenty of stories about Mr. Santa-María.
Yeah? I saw
about Guillermo Del Toro. I played a good prank on him. Peter, so here, let's just embarrass Peter while we're
Perfect.
on.
We're about to embarrass former guest on the podcast.
Peter
Santa-María,
used to shop at my store.
Famous artist, guy who does all kinds of famous things.
He did a bunch of the posters for my events, too. And so Peter used to shop at my movie store.
Uh-huh.
So I've known him for a bit. He was writing a zine, a movie zine, and he was obsessed with Hellboy.
Wait, what is a zine?
Oh, a zine, yeah. This was like pre-blogs. when everybody had to, it was like Xerox copy.
What year is that, 1974?
This probably would have been...
Peter, how old are you?
2005, maybe.
Yeah.
Whenever Hellboy 1 came out is when he was doing. He got to interview Guillermo Del Toro and Ron Perlman for the zine.
That's cool.
I was the one who introduced him to Guillermo Del Toro when I used to have my store because I've been a fan of his from the beginning. That wasn't a name drop. That's just a fact.
Name drop.
I didn't know him personally. Now, Peter was friends with the guy personally. Peter went to the set of his film. He can actually tell you that. Oh. But so Peter's girlfriend at the time told me a story that when Peter was younger, he was obsessed with the Foo Fighters, and when the song Hero came out, he believed that Dave Grohl wrote the song about his thoughts about Dave Grohl. Like, he's my hero. That's a little bit of delusion. I found that very funny.
Yeah.
Because he thought Dave Grohl...
Did you write like a love letter to Dave Grohl?
Dave Grohl, who he's never met, somehow wrote a song about.
But did you write a lot of letters to him? He's not telling it right.
Yeah, of course I'm not. What a coincidence. So what happens is and look, this just shows you that with I always say, this shows you that I'm a dick, because he actually gets Guillermo Del Toro to call me so I could talk to him on the phone, and Guillermo Del Toro's talking to me, and the first thing I say, hey, I need you to play a prank on Peter.
All right. No, man, I want to do this.
No, he's going to say he's going to start talking like this.
Peter!
Let me tell it right. He's not telling it right.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Put me on speaker.
I'm trying to put you on speaker. I don't know where the actual speaker is.
Yeah, what you were doing there was good.
Okay, go ahead, Peter.
Okay, this is a real story. Sef was wearing regular shorts. No, the real story was, okay, and I've told this story so many times because I know what Sef's capable of. I'm gonna let Sef finish the story, but I'm just gonna give the background, and then Sef can circle back around and have the glory. Okay?
I love that.
But what happened was, as a kid, like after the first Foo Fighters album came out, so what year was that? 95.
95. It was 95.
The first album, right? I went on a road trip with my dad and my brother. We get to Virginia, Maryland, around there, where Dave Grohl's from. And we go to, some bullshit little guitar store. It was New Year's Day. We were up there for the holidays. They had gone into hiding, Foo Fighters, to do their next album. This is pre-social media. Apparently, Dave Grohl cut off all his hair between the two albums. We walk into the store, and Dave Grohl is sitting there with his new haircut, playing guitar. There's no one in the store. It's just me, my brother. We're kids. I think this must have been 96. I must have been 13 years old, max. And I go, that's Dave Grohl. We walk up to him and go, Dave, are you Dave Grohl? He's like, yeah. He was super nice to us. We talked to us. He autographed some pics. It was the coolest thing. On the way, leaving the store, he bought a super fucking expensive guitar cash that he used for that video on Monkey Wrench. It was rad. On the way, leaving the shop, we kind of drove off, and he was leaving, and we kind of just waved him off. Like, hey, all right, man, nice meeting you. See you later. My dad was driving us. Years later, okay, I don't know what the context was or how it came up, but I confessed to my then girlfriend at the time that I go, there's a part of me that wonders if he thought about us that when he wrote that song from our perspective, oh, there goes my hero. That was the extent of it. And I told that to my ex-girlfriend in the utmost confidence. I'm like, please never repeat this, because everyone's going to think I'm fucking insane, and I'll never hear the end of it. Now, who does she fucking have the gall to say it to? The one person you should never tell a fucking secret story to is this motherfucker right here, the Burger Beast.
He says you're backpedaling the whole story right now.
Wait, Sef, if there's more to it, feel free to embellish. You are getting old, though, so I have to be careful with your memory. The truth is, though, this is not even the funny and the embarrassing part. This is just the background. I'm going to go back on Instagram so I can watch Sef tell the rest of the story. It was very good.
Okay. All right, Peter, this has been great. You need to come back on the show some other time when you're not doing other things that make you a lot of money. And we're back from the things. That was our first ever live phone call.
This podcast it's been off the rails for a long time.
And Sef's not even drinking.
Nobody listening knows what's going on.
No, I don't know. It's fine.
I don't even know where we're at. Oh, so we were saying the story.
We're talking about Peter influenced Dave Grohl and really set the tone for Foo Fighters long term.
So the same thing, his girlfriend tells me that story, and she says, Peter's going to try calling you with Guillermo Del Toro on the phone, and I said, if you have him call me, I will tell him the story about Peter and the Foo Fighters. So Guillermo Del Toro is like, Coño, because he called me by, my real name, Serafin. So Guillermo Del Toro is like, Coño, Serafin. Coño, Serafin. And then I tell him, hey, can you do me a favor? He's like, claro. And I go, can you ask Peter if the Foo Fighters wrote a song about him?
Oh.
He can't deny that's exactly what I did. And Ron Perlman was there when this happened. And his girlfriend had told me after, man, that was the funniest thing. Because when they said it to him, Peter just stayed quiet. Like, obviously, and this is what I say, he went out of his way to make sure I could talk to Guillermo Del Toro because you know how much I love it. And the whole time I'm trying to think how I can play a prank on him.
Oh, man. And that forever has influenced the Foo Fighters' career, and they owe everything to Peter Santa-María. And look at that. They should now be on the podcast.
At 2 a.m. At 2 a.m. that day.
To set the record straight.
At 2 a.m., Peter calls me. And I go, he calls me that day. I go, hello? And he goes, I hate you. And he hangs up on me.
I can see Peter doing that.
That's
the blood left on my body in that moment. That's all he said here. I don't know what that means. So much. So intense, man. This is intense. Anyways, back to you being a trailblazer.
I think this episode is going to be 6 hours.
It depends. I mean, if we add Guava George, we're going into a marathon.
I can call
of 24
him up
hours.
right now.
No, we're not adding another live feed to this. No, let's be serious. For like 30 seconds, let's be real. For 30 seconds. So, the burgies happen, the food truck things happen. The food truck really takes off. The food truck world really takes off 2010, 11, 12, yeah?
Right.
I remember because I was a part of it. I was in the thick of it. I worked for Richard Hales at Sakaya for a while. That was always like my second gig.
By the way, do you know how long we've been doing this?
No.
We're well over an hour at this point.
I have no doubt that we're well over an hour, and we haven't even gotten the fucking story of why
he's here.
Why he's even here, for fuck's sake.
People love two-parters, you know.
Carlos
on the
Frias
food truck
just
thing,
Carlos Frias just texted us both.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he did. Is your phone on? Yeah.
You haven't allowed me to have my phone on.
It's not an allowed thing. You're a fucking grown-ass man. I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't do. Can you read Carlos Frias' text to us, please?
Carlos Frias wrote, a pastelito is a dessert sandwich.
It is not a dessert sandwich. Dessert sandwiches on the thing. An ice cream sandwich is an ice cream sandwich is ice cream. There's no bread involved. That's actually a good story. An ice cream sandwich is not a sandwich.
I agree.
Yeah. Is when you get a croqueta at a ventanilla and it comes with crackers and you put it between crackers and you eat it, it's not a sandwich.
No, absolutely not.
Are crackers bread?
I don't think
If
so.
they're bread,
I mean,
it's a
they're
sandwich.
crackers. They're not bread.
No, but
They're crackers.
But is cracker a name for a kind of bread?
What if I got a croqueta and put it between Melba toast? Wouldn't that be a sandwich?
I think it's a sandwich.
No, but that's toast.
Melba toast?
Yeah, toast.
Those little tiny things like that?
They're little- it's a tiny
It's
sandwich.
over-toasted toast.
I don't like this conversation.
You like Melba toast?
No.
Gross. I don't like Melba toast either. What is a Monte Cristo?
A heart attack.
Yeah, it's a French toast sandwich thing.
Yeah, the Monte Cristo.
Well, the original one, it was just French toast. Then, of course, we couldn't help ourselves and we had to...
Breakfast dessert
Deep fried.
sandwich we hear here by one of our 3 listeners on live. I can't... No. It's not a sandwich. Anyways. So then the food truck things are like big at that point. It's all over the place. The food truck scene has taken over Miami.
Right.
And
all hell's broken loose behind the scenes, right?
And you have all I remember was fucking the tickets. Oh man, I have nightmares about working on Sakaya's truck.
Lines were crazy.
Not because it wasn't fun, because it was fun, but it was like how busy that thing was. I mean, because honestly, at any food truck event that you used to put on, and I know you're probably going to get offended by this, but how many food trucks would be there?
20 to 25.
I would think that maybe 5 or 6 were actually very good.
You're pretty accurate.
Okay. So I thought Richard's was very good. I thought Richard's food was very good. I thought the food at Sakaya was fun and interesting and delicious. The same thing with the truck. So, man, we would get fucking crushed. Like, I'll never forget, I'm working you remember the crispy duck sandwich thing? I'm working the crispy duck sandwich station, and I don't remember what else I had on that station because all I sold was crispy duck sandwiches. And the tickets would just be so there would be the rail and then the tickets hanging to the fucking floor, and then the line would be like 50 more people, and I'm like, this is gross, right? Like, this is so much, and we're just crushing it. We're just like doing it. You know, I remember we used to do the ones in Tamiami and by the Harley dealership, remember? Mm-hmm. But that's when like food trucks were actually genuinely fun.
Yeah, what happened is a bunch of people thought they could be food truck owners, and they started taking out essentially trucks that should have been sponsored by Cisco.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a lot of people think they could open restaurants too. And I think that always we could just buy chicken tenders and then put them in a sandwich and then call it a day.
Well, even and I'm into when I see all these people who are kind of testing, making things from their home before they take the next step, whether it be barbecue, desserts, a lot of them don't last. I don't think they realize how much work it is to really last.
But I think even more so than the work of the actual food, it's the work of the actual business too. Like when you get into the work of the business, it's another web of shit that you couldn't imagine, and you know the food is another web of like efficiency and consistency and like thought process and like how do you make sure you have food the next day? You know, like that's for me it's like, and on a food truck you don't have like a prep kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Like you have a food truck, so you're prepping out of your house. But there's some great stories out of there, like Miss Cheesiest. Miss Cheesiest ended up opening up brick and mortars, and what do they have? 2 now? 2 brick and mortars, and they did
I
very
think
well.
they have one.
They have one?
They used to have one too. Yeah.
Oh, the one in the Gables isn't there anymore?
Yeah, it's not there.
Oh. So, and they started as a food truck, right? So, there's those kind of stores too. What other restaurant started as a food truck that ended up being a brick and mortar? Latin House.
Some of them opened. La Camaronera was already a restaurant, so he became the fish box, and then just went back. Not a lot, man. A lot of them open restaurants. And Jefes had a restaurant and ended up closing the Mexican.
Don't you think just randomly, La Camaronera opening up the food truck introduced their already legendary product to a new demographic of people?
That's why.
I think that's why it was important.
Yeah. That's definitely why he did it.
Right.
David Garcia was now kind of taking over, and I remember stepping foot in there for the first time. It was, I think, Good Friday, the first day I walked in.
Oh.
And I was like, what is this madness? And Latin Burger and Taco at the time, which was run by Ingrid Hoffman, was parked in a lot that La Camaronera people own. And I met David Garcia there, and he's like, hey, come, I want you to see my restaurant. And I walked in, and I was like, knew of La Camaronera, I'd never been there. And it's actually one of probably 2 or 3 places that I eat seafood, to be honest, because I know it's always fresh. And I'm not a big seafood guy, but
no,
but just never. Not even on Good Friday.
I'll tell you,
Friday's double cheeseburger Friday.
As much as I love La Froditas, like croquetas, they did like lobster things and they did like lobster empanadas or shrimp. I didn't like any of those things.
What about lobster bisque?
Do I like lobster bisque?
No,
I
just figure it's like people eat lobster bisque, and I'm like, most of that lobster bisque I think is like canned. I don't think people.
I ordered.
I don't know if there's. By the way, I want to be clear. I don't know anything about their business.
No, I don't know anything about theirs either. But it's like I ordered a chicken sandwich, and I was just like, I just want like papitas or something with this or whatever. And it's like, well, you get an option of like a fish soup or a lobster bisque, and I'm like, I don't want either one of those. I just want the sandwich. But and I think that's a misconception of like kind of old school Cuban places. Like they got to give you too much food, and I think it dilutes the quality of like whatever food they're trying to do.
But you went to a place that kind of gives portions. I told you go to Luis Galindo.
Yeah.
Latin American is very good at 57 and 8th. That's like my go-to Cuban restaurant.
I know. I actually took my mom there, and it was great. It was
old school because it's got the old counter. You can see them making the sandwiches.
Right.
They don't really have that experience in many places in Miami anymore.
I think old school is always... I mean, I'm an old school guy, so like Jimmy's Eastside Diner, I still love Jimmy's Eastside. A cheese fucking omelet at Jimmy's Eastside is still the best with grits and whatever, and it's like a ratchet old school diner. I think it's the most realistic interpretation of a diner you can get in Miami, I think, still.
Right.
Anyways, we're off topic again. So, Burger Beast is now putting on all these events, and you are the guy, right? You gained a lot of people that didn't like you at that time.
Yes.
Right.
Correct.
Food truck owners and things, because I remember the shaved ice person hated you because
not
told her
not
it
even
was
2 years
sugar.
ago, some shaved ice guy approached Channel 6 about saying that I was like some mafia don, that I was running all the food trucks and I wasn't letting him into one of my events. And Channel 6 actually believed this guy who was doing shaved ice, which by the way is not a food truck. Shaved ice is fucking ice with flavored sugar water.
So how do you feel about AC's Ices?
It's delicious.
But is it not shaved ice though?
Yeah.
Oh man, loophole.
No, I don't really think it's. I don't think it's really the same thing. Did he park in front of your business here? Is that why you're angry?
No. I send people there all the fucking time.
Yeah, no, I like AC's Ices. I get a hot dog there.
They have
my Nathan's dog. I think they have Nathan's.
They have a Nathan's dog.
I think they have.
We don't support Nathan's. We don't talk about Nathan's on here. We're a David Arbetter.
I only go to Miami. Oh, it's called Miami Grill now. I only go to Miami Grill to get my Nathan fries.
But if Nathan's wants to sponsor Ponco Podcast, you can reach us at ads@dademag.com. Thank you very much, Nathan's Hot Dogs.
I'm sure we'll get that email soon.
My issue always with the sponsorship thing was they think because they're giving me. This is the way I look at it. Marcel and I look at it like they feel like they're giving me money, so they control me, and it doesn't work that way. If you want to sponsor me, it's because you like what I'm doing, and you want to support what I'm doing. So I had Budweiser sponsor one of my events.
I'll take that sponsor.
And money-wise, it was great. But they wouldn't even respond to my email or calls after. because I pretty much shot them down with everything that they tried wanted me to do. They wanted, when I did Hamburger House Party, I would choose all the competitors. It had to be somewhere I had eaten from, a burger that I thought should be competing for best burger. They wanted to pick 5 folks and just interject them. I know it was not going to be 5 good burger joints. It was just going to be whoever sold a lot of fucking
but that's like that large corporate America shit that, sadly, I think why, and I feel like about a lot of my opinions too, why people would think that you're an asshole, why I'm an asshole, is because, you stand by your ideals, right? So it's like, Budweiser, I like your money, but if you're really sponsoring me, you're sponsoring what I want to do, not what you want to do, what I want to do. So what you want to do is go to places that you support what they do, you support their thing, and you want to support their thing. So, is that me? Oh, I love you, Angel. You're the best. That's my Chivo right there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, that's the hard part about working with a national sponsor, I guess.
I think it's also, there's an element of it, and maybe you had some of this experience or, sort of observed this over time, that's a little bit like, and let's not go down this rabbit hole, but a little bit like the conversation of the influencers. And the impact that
we haven't even gotten.
No, I know. But
we haven't even fucking touched on that subject.
But
yet.
what I'm saying is, in the same way that other small businesses play a role too, because they set precedent that then you have to contend with, because they've set the tone that this is a market that exists and an ask that's reasonable. I spent too much time, frankly, trying to change the same thing at a magazine. And it's not the only magazine that does that kind of thing. So if you're doing media and you want sponsorships or you're trying to sell ads, you're running up against the norms that have been set by a lot of other people who are in that media space who will just bend to whatever people want to do, and they will blur the lines between what's sponsored and what was transactional and what is. But what's lacking is integrity, whether it's small or big or whatever, and a lot of people just have this expectation because it's been their experience that it's all just smoke and mirrors, and it doesn't have to be, but it's a struggle to have it not be smoke and mirrors.
Well, a good question is if Budweiser comes to you and says, we're going to sponsor your event, but it is absolutely required for you to put Shake Shack in that event, what do you say?
Well, if I would consider having Shake Shack anyway, yes. The problem is including someone when to compete at Hamburger House Party, there was 2 main things. Number 1, I had to like your food, and number 2, it has to be fresh beef. I was not going to put someone who uses frozen beef.
Okay.
And it has to be actually like cow, where I'm not doing pork burgers, I'm not doing anything.
Okay.
So I was not going to have a salmon burger or any of that nonsense.
A 50-50 burger doesn't work.
I think I may have allowed that, but it's not really
They're not
what the
good,
goal.
but go on.
Right, most of the time.
50-50s aren't good.
Yeah. And so, look, 6 to 8 months later, I did something with Amstel Light for 2 years, and then I ended up working with Heineken Light, 5 seasons, and I like that I did a thing where I sat down and I said, this is my ideas, and we worked on something together. That's like what I want to do. You want to sit down and you want to work with me. Let's figure something else. Figure something out that benefits both of us. That plays to both of our strengths. You know what I mean?
Heineken and Amstel, you could find us at ads at dademag.com, everyone. Thank you so much. No, but I think that if someone wants to partner with you, and, obviously we've talked
Which camera am I on? I'm like,
yeah. you can call us on all the phones if you want.
Just drop a note in the Instagram live feed.
But I think really to stay genuine, stay real to like who you are and the whole thing, and we've talked about this a lot because I don't know, we've done a lot of these fucking episodes, right? And it's like you've done a lot of your work too. It's like, how do you stay real to who you are, still make money, make it a profitable business that you can live, and not sell out? It's fucking tough. It's tough. I mean, I'm proud that we haven't, and I don't think we have, and I don't think we ever will, and I think the same way about our food, but corporate America makes it very fucking tough, man. Like I can see Budweiser coming and saying, like, we want to give you all the money, but we want to tell you the 5 people we want to feature in your thing.
Well, yeah, they wanted to move the event to make it 5 times the size it was. They wanted to move the thing, and I said, this is exactly what I said. That sounds like Budweiser's hamburger house party, not Burger Beast's hamburger house party.
The Burger Beast. Yeah.
And actually, back then, the event was called Burger Brawl, so it was like, that sounds like Budweiser's Burger Brawl, which you probably would have liked the whole 3B thing.
Yeah.
Not Burger Beast Burger Brawl, which was nice because it was 4 Bs.
Right. So, okay, so what year was that? What year did that start?
2015.
2015. Oh, so we're moving along now. Now we are finding out how Sef is a trailblazer and what he's doing. I think 2017, you wrote a piece for the Herald.
Right.
Top 25 burgers in Miami.
Right. Yeah, I wrote that. Of course, I'd had particular burger that's served here, and that eludes me.
Doesn't elude you? Why does it elude you?
Because,
Anyways,
I'm not in this part of town.
Give me my abuelita time is apparently what it's called. So, 2017-18, Ariette was going through a
I sat at the table right by this window right here.
I know, with Jenny.
Who?
So good. She who must not be named. So 2017-18, Ariette was like going through this like very weird change time. Things were happening on the back end of the business that no one should know about. And I was actually
showing my mask off.
You're doing totally fine.
Oh, that's serious.
Yeah, insert burger here. That's actually the only other mask other than my own that I would probably wear. And I was actually doing a dinner for Facundo in our private dining room. And Gio Gutierrez.
Never heard of that guy either.
Me neither. I'm not totally sure who I'm
That guy's bad
referencing.
news.
Bad news. Bad news. Tells, and I didn't even know it at this point, says to everyone after when I, thanked everyone for coming to the dinner or whatever, says, just so everyone knows, and no one knows this yet, that Ariette now has the best burger in the city. And I didn't know really what that totally meant at that point, right? And so I was like, oh man, that's cool. Like I love the Chug Burger. I think it's fucking delicious. Obviously, since it's my burger, and we put so much time in it. Forever. What an ego, this guy. Loves his own burger. I also love the Shake Shack burger and the Proof burger that you can find on Sundays. We only make 50 at a time at Nave. If you'd like to reserve, let us know.
Which delivery service do you have?
We have no delivery services because we give no one 35% of our money.
What if it was 33?
The evil empire. We do not do that. You should come here and eat and enjoy the experience like a regular person.
Do you have curbside here?
We do have curbside. That is
Can
accurate.
you put a sign out there that says Ariette curbside?
And man, I have to tell you that I really do believe, and I tell people this story all the time. Albeit this is a pseudo fine dining restaurant, and so many things are great, and so many things are amazing. That is what changed the course of history for this restaurant. We went from serving. It was actually on the menu at that time. Now it's not actually on the menu. We only serve 12 a night because we bake and we grind daily. So,
am I going to miss out on getting one? Or are they sold out? Oh, you guys are long closed.
Yeah,
right?
we are. But
this guy gets me wrapped up in this conversation. I don't even get to
know,
order
that's what I
anything.
do. I get people into conversations.
There's no way I can order at least dessert. I'm going to get murdered if I don't go.
No, I'll get you dessert. Come on, just give me a second.
I'm going to pay for it, though.
No, you're not.
I know you're going to talk shit then.
I would never. Can I finish my story for fuck's sake?
We've been at this for like an hour 15, so if we get to the end of the story in the next couple of hours, I think we're...
So, I can tell you that we went from being an consistently empty restaurant for brunch and for dinner to then having some people, then having a lot of people, and a lot of people coming to dine, and then to have the burger.
That's
and
awesome.
It really did change the course of history for this restaurant that, in essence, changed the course of history from my company in total. Because No one was coming before, and then they came. And that has a lot to do with that thing that you wrote that, I mean, was about our burger, and people fucking loved it, and people came, and they loved it again and again.
I thought this was going to end with me getting some percentage points in this company.
No, that's definitely not the case. That's definitely not how this works.
But it ties back to what we were talking about before, right? It's not just that you wrote it, but you wrote it and it came from a source people trusted.
Right. So,
One, as much as I love the burger, look, my thing is, I care about parking. I'm like anti. So like when I was getting here, I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to walk 3 freaking blocks. I was like, I'll eventually give in when I was like almost a block away. I was like, but there's no way. I'm like, I'm not in New York, dude. I am not going to be walking a long distance. And that's probably one of the main reasons that I don't go to some restaurants like Locale and this place. Chug's, on the other hand, which I'm doing an ad for and they're not even open. But Chug's, I would go
Free
at
ad
7
by
in
the
the
Burger
morning,
Beast.
and I'd park right around the corner on that little street that's closed right now. And I used to walk in, and I'd be like, yes, yes, yes. And then I would take yes, 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 and take to my dad. And then, I'd just look at the bacon and smile and caress my little sandwich.
let me ask you, you like the thick cut bacon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. It's a point of contention right now whether we continue with the thick cut
Well,
bacon.
I like, because a lot of people just want to eat bacon by itself, but I like that I can cut it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm also not going to be like some, like I just escaped convict and just like start ripping it off the.
Well, when we went to Chicago, we ate at Publican, and Publican does the thick cut like bacon seared like proper, and it was fucking amazing.
And what did she eat?
She ate a sticky bun. That is what she ate. But the thick cut bacon seared like proper. It was more like just cured and smoked pork belly, and that's why that Chug's thick cut bacon happened to begin with. It wasn't cost effective. It wasn't right at all. But people loved it. So that's probably why it'll probably stay that way.
You know how long ago I met her?
I mean, we're talking about Gio Gutierrez probably a long time ago.
Well, Twinkle Toes, yeah.
Twinkle Toes.
We produced your burger show.
I know. 2012.
That's right. You had a burger show.
Yeah, I did 5 episodes. It's fun.
Only 5?
Yeah, we only ended up doing 5. It was fun. I had a desk. I didn't know what I was going to use for a desk. We filmed it at my house. We filmed it in like a room in my house. And I was at my dad's house and he had a cooler. And I go, this is like the perfect size and height. So I had like one of these coolers on wheels. And then I just slapped the sticker of the name of the show on the front. And then I would use that as a prop. I would hide things in there, and then I'd want to talk about something. I'd pull it out.
This sounds
when
like frying croquetas in my living room.
We did fry croquetas in your living room. And that fryer is still in my trunk.
I had Richard Hales. I brought out like chalk and a bunch of stuff. I was like, this is all stuff that Richard would use. And I brought out chalk and like some oil for his hair and a comb.
Oh, man.
An RC cola.
So, yeah, we talked about 2017 Burger Beast Miami Herald front cover, top 25 burgers. What was the second burger there?
Who knows?
You don't know?
I don't remember anything. I was in a car. This is even though I'm joking about it, I got into a car accident that scrambled my brain, and I have like.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
I have sometimes I have trouble remembering things.
Really?
Not sometimes remember. I think things are kind of jumbled in my head. And it took probably a good year before I could actually just go back to. I always had a very good memory. It just kind of messed me up. So like details like that. Even I was in the middle of writing the book when that happened. And then I had just started writing the book in July. I got into the accident late August. The book I had to turn in the first week of December. I was about 3 weeks. I couldn't even really move my neck, so I was not typing or anything. I was kind of like mobilized, watching TV all day.
Tell me about the book process. I mean, I have several copies of your book. We had it in Chug's. We have it here in Ariete. I have one at home.
That's how I could afford breakfast at Chug's.
I know. That's why I bought them. That's why I bought them.
Why didn't you ever ask me to do a book signing at Chug's?
Because I'm
kidding.
No. But seriously, a lot of things about Chug's were so up in the air because it was a pop-up, right? So the idea of Chug's to begin with was like, it could be 4 months, it could be 6 months, it could be 2 months. I didn't know. Like, they literally called me when I was in New York with Justin and Gio, Pastelito Papi Gio, just like eating a bunch of food. And
The
like,
good Geo, you should say. The good Geo.
I will not say that, especially with present company.
That's why you should.
Yeah. and we're just gonna do a pop up. And originally the idea of Chug's was just like a coffee shop and a home for Pastelito Papi. The fact that we had food is just because I'm chaotic, so I wanted to put 24 menu items in a fucking shoebox of a kitchen. But like we just weren't sure how long it was gonna be. It ended up being 16 months because of COVID. That's the only reason why it lasted. I think it was 16 or 17 months because when COVID happened. Actually, Chug's is what kept the entire company afloat. As when we turned it into like a provision center,
right?
Like fucking grocery store, like all that shit. The rest of the company was doing a fraction of
ice cream parlor.
Ice cream parlor, which will be coming back very, very soon. Which we will talk about with Chef Devin when the time comes. And just like. It ended up being this like beautiful thing that this small 600 square foot space ended up holding up this entire company. You found the thing.
Yeah.
2018.
Well, I mean,
Ariete #1.
Boom.
And #2 is Le Chic with the Proof Burger. Le Chic with #2 with the Proof Burger.
I think Proof was already gone at that point.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's still the fucking Proof Burger. And Shake Shack is #3. Bird and Bone. Really? Man,
what a hater.
I'm just honest. Babe Froman, I totally support that. The Local, of course. Phil, I take that. Ad Lib, that's also Phil's burger. The Swine Burger is also Phil's burger.
Is it?
100%.
I know. I'm just
don't fuck. Pincho, Pinch. Yeah, I mean, JR's Gourmet Burgers. I actually never had that one. Locale. I've heard of that guy. What's his name? Kushner.
Captain.
Captain the Kush. Blue Collar. Hate Monday's Tavern. That didn't end up so well, huh?
Why?
Isn't that the guy with the...
No, you're thinking Hole in the Wall.
Oh, Hole in the Wall. My bad. I apologize. Chefs on the Run.
You're trying to cancel culture some people around here?
No, I'm not going to cancel any cultures. This is not the show for that. Twisted Fork Kitchen. Is that... I've never heard of that. Is that still there?
Yeah.
It is?
It's amazing. Tank Brewing.
Oh, it is? Rock Burger. Oh.
That's gone.
Mark Falsetto. No, they still exist.
Nope. Gone.
In Fort Lauderdale, they don't exist? Oh, that's right. They don't exist.
They don't.
Right.
He has Henry's Sandwich in Fort Lauderdale, which is actually really great.
Henry's?
It's called Henry's Sandwich in Fort Lauderdale.
I had their fried chicken sandwich.
Oh, I don't know. I ate the breakfast sandwich and the burger. I have to go there now because Chug's is closed. Imagine. Look at the side face. Look.
So you're 4 months away. You're 4 months away.
Pretend I have my mask on, then I go.
Then we could do a book signing. We could do whatever signings you want. Cheeseburger Baby.
What if I only sign in crayons at yours?
I love that. That's actually better. Boss Burger and Brew.
But I want like the big crayon where I can sharpen in the back.
Airport Cafe and Liquors. This is Burble. This is like a solid list, man. This is good.
I haven't been
the
to
fact
Airport
that I was
Cafe
at the
in a
top
long
of this list, I am fucking honored. John Martin's Irish Pub.
I know. All it would have taken was some Budweiser money, and I would have knocked you right out.
That's good. Shake Shack, Five Guys, McDonald's.
Well, McDonald's does have a fresh beef burger, so they technically.
Honestly, that this article is framed and hanging up in our office. That's how big of a deal it was.
You have the actual newspaper. You got like a digital.
The actual newspaper. The actual newspaper is hanging up in our office.
Carlos Streets couldn't have gotten you a digital file of that.
Nah, it's cool. I like the actual newspaper. It's better. It's more
He's
authentic.
too busy eating sandwiches, I guess.
He's too busy dictating things that are sandwiches that aren't sandwiches on Twitter and making a big fuss about them. But I like Carlos, and we like each other, and it's fine. So 2017-18 happened.
Yeah.
And that was...
To be, the funny thing is I found an interview that someone did with me in 2010, and someone said, tell me something that no one knows about you. And I answered that I love croquetas more than I love burgers.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of funny because as much as I wanted Hamburger House Party to be like my signature event, Croqueta Palooza is my signature event. That's the event that people lose their minds, the ones that people want to be involved with. I mean, Sobe had... I do a croqueta event with South Beach Wine and Food Festival.
Oh, yeah? Love them. They're the best.
And dude, they're great with me.
With you, yeah, it's good.
I want.
I mean, that's fine.
You didn't give me a percentage points here, so I don't care what
I
happens.
mean, that's okay. I mean, they can be great with some people, but not great with others.
I mean, do they listen to this podcast?
I would guess not. They do.
know.
They do follow my Twitter though. They're very aware.
I don't follow anybody.
No, but I think.
Sorry, I don't even know where you were going, but the croqueta thing. So I essentially was surprised that croquetas ended up being the biggest thing, the biggest event, you know?
Love you, Ash. You're the best. But, we're going to have you on here to... I did call you out on it. That's what's going to happen.
No, she's pointing over at me.
Oh, she is?
Oh, she's got beef with everybody around.
That's why I call her Mini-Me. She's got beef with everybody. Love her.
So yeah, Croqueta Palooza just took off. I remember telling, I don't know if you guys know Nadal from
I don't know him, but I know who he is.
Right, so I remember telling Nadal, I got an idea. I had just done Frita Showdown in a little small part of the casino, and we had about 100 people there. And I told Nadal, man, I got an idea to do a giant croqueta festival. And he says to me, it'll never work. I go, really? You think it'll never work? So I did Frita Showdown, I think it was 2013. 2014, I did Frita Showdown, and 3 months later I did Croqueta Palooza. And that's what I was like, dude, this is before all the tacky croqueta t-shirts that you see everywhere. You know, it was
Tell
just
me what
kind of
that means, the tacky croqueta t-shirts.
Martha of Miami has kind of pioneered this thing where she came up with these witty lines, and maybe some not so witty.
You're referencing the tacky croqueta t-shirt.
Well, I didn't say hers were tacky.
Okay, you mentioned her after the thing. I'm just trying to connect the dots.
She came up with a lot of creative shirts, and I think a lot of people have just started copying her and doing. I said some. I saw that. But you know, esa gente no es de mi tiempo, man.
Yeah, I got it.
A lot of this stuff goes over my head. I don't get it. You know, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I write about food I like, and I don't want to get food for free. And back when I started the blog, it was like I mentioned earlier. People were like, "You're only writing that you like that place you got food for free." No, I mean, I can show you a receipt. Just like if someone complains to me, I can pull up my checking account and Chase, and you can see all the places I paid for my food. There's no reason to lie about it.
Right.
You know, somehow, somewhere, it flipped, where it's okay to get free food, and that's fine.
No, actually, it's not okay. It's expected.
Right.
It's expected.
Well, and I think that the restaurants are also responsible for it. I mean,
100%. We're going to get into that after we finish why you're a trailblazer. We're still trying to get to
Is that going to be hour 3 or 4?
No, we're getting there, man. For fuck's sake, we're getting there. If Peter doesn't call again, we might get it done in the second hour.
George, why would George just call?
Oh, no. We'll be here at the 6 in the morning at that point. No, I mean, off subject. Another question. Totally throw it off. Do you prefer a burger over a frita?
It depends, but if I had to say a well done frita, I would prefer over a well done. And I don't mean cooked well done. I mean properly done.
I'm with that. 100%. Best frita in Miami.
Which is the best frita in Miami?
Yeah, just your favorite. It doesn't need to be like the best is a weird misconception.
How about overpriced?
Is it this is the thing? People keep on digging on me on my frita, and I can give 3
Are you
fucks
feeling
with?
guilty? I haven't even said your name
Nick
yet.
mentioned it. Like, apparently it was a whole podcast about how my frita's overpriced. I didn't even know that.
No, they didn't. They never named.
They never named me. Don't name you by name. It's fine.
You should just say you have a tasajo frita, and then you can charge that.
Who does that?
No,
I don't know. I love the idea of that.
I mean, like a real tasajo.
I know. I love the idea of that. That sounds delicious. No, but
you serve it on a horseshoe.
Oh, man. Matt gives everyone horseshoes. Has he ever given you a horseshoe? Matt Kushner? No? He gives everyone
He just put my cartoon on a picture, a cartoony version of me on one of his walls.
That's nice, though.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
That's cool.
I just want to mention that so people can look for
so they can go?
Yeah. Muy importante.
Muy
I told you, I haven't had a grandmother in 20 years. I need...
Yeah, no, I'm here to Abuelita. That's my job as a podcaster. Go ahead. Your favorite in Miami. Come on. Give it to me.
All right. For a long time, I loved el Mago Las Fritas, but I don't think it's been the same as it had been.
How long since you think it changed?
Maybe 3 years.
It's interesting. I probably haven't had one in about 3 years.
I would say El Rey is the most consistent.
Sure.
I really enjoy El Rey. I love, even though I'm like, I like the real, like fritas. I don't like people messing with the toppings, but it pains me that the blue cheese one that you have is very good.
And that blue cheese frita is her dad's frita.
Yeah.
So I was very skeptical. It was
So was I.
yeah. And it was Emily's dad's frita was.
I know he didn't even
What-
say your
what-
name. He just pointed at you like an object, like an
Listen,
object.
We're on
that one.
We're on YouTube right now. What? Whose birthday was it? Was it Triplet's birthday? I think so. Sister brother's birthday. He's making fritas, and then one of them has blue cheese and caramelized onions, and I'm like, nah, I'm a classic frita person or whatever, but I love blue cheese. So I eat one of these things, I'm like, it's fucking delicious. And so when we're coming up with Chug's original menu, I was like, let's just do like different fritas. We had a gringo, americano, and then we had Pop's frita. Pops is her dad. And it was like, I love it. I think it's fucking delicious.
Yeah.
So fucking good. Because when I have a burger, I like a classic burger. I like, obviously, the Chug Burger, like American cheese, special sauce, shaved lettuce.
Well, that's not really a classic burger, but you go ahead. You go ahead and say whatever you want. We're at your place.
But, like when I had the frita, I was like, this is fucking so good. And then when we put it on there, everyone who likes blue cheese fucking loves that frita. Loves it.
You know what people who enjoy burgers with shredded lettuce should do?
Go on.
You know what arikiri is?
Ooh, this is getting intense.
I don't know what that is. Go on.
This is like a Japanese ritual suicide.
Wow. Well,
I
mean,
love samurai films, man.
listen, everything in life is somewhat aesthetic driven. And I like the shaved lettuce on there for a little crunch, for a little green. It looks, I think the burger looks more enticing at that point.
Have you ever tried making your burger with pickle, mustard, onion?
Pickle, I don't approve of a burger with mustard.
Wow.
And an onion.
That's rookie talk.
No, well, but honestly, it's personal preference talk. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like raw onions. So I don't put raw onions on my burger. That's
What is
why.
that? You're not the first chef I meet who does not like raw onions.
No, it's cool. I totally understand why. It's like super abrasive, and if you don't run them under running cold water, it's like they're just like.
Did I say they were raw onions, by the way? They are, but I didn't say that.
No, but I mean, I envision the burger like the diner burger with the two buns that they don't make, and then the thick.
They don't make.
That they don't make, and then the thick like onion, and then the like weird stuff, and it's always kind of like that. Like it's never straight. That's how I envision the onion.
If you were at home and making yourself a burger, would you rather have
First of all, we don't have
squishy bun.
any actual beef in our house.
Soft squishy bun like from Publix, that really horrendous cheapy hot dog and hamburger bread? Or would you do untoasted white bread?
Well, that's a loaded question. Yeah, because if it's untoasted white bread, you're talking about a patty melt. No, but you're toasting a patty melt.
We're
You're
gonna
right.
get into what a patty melt is.
No, yeah, you're gonna toast a patty melt. Listen,
This is,
You're gonna griddle the
if
patty.
we want to get into what Chef Michael Beltran eats at home, this is the last food photo that I was sent. That is a peanut butter and jelly taco.
Sorry to hear that.
I had smoked some weed before. I actually made that, and it was good. And that is like the easiest.
You know
thing.
who loves peanut butter? Peanut butter?
Go on.
Comelon's dog.
I mean,
I'm not even gonna get into what
our
that means.
dog also loves peanut butter. I love peanut butter.
I was making a sick joke, but
You know what, one of the most interesting burgers I ever had was, and I'm blanking now on the name of the restaurant. This was in Madison, Wisconsin, and it was just the patty, bacon, and peanut butter.
yeah, those are usually called goober burgers.
Is that what it is?
A goober burger.
I wonder if they might have called it that, but to me it was new. I had no idea what was happening.
How'd you feel about it?
Incredible.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. If I saw that on a
How do
menu,
you feel about a goober burger?
I think it's revolting.
That's so good. Revolting.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the people who do burgers with donuts?
Don't care for them.
You don't care for them.
Not really.
Do you
I
put-
did the pop-ups at Mojo Donuts. I did it for like 8 Saturdays.
I remember
Every
those.
week, Jimmy, the owner of Mojo Donuts, wanted me to do one, and I said, absolutely not. It will never happen.
Are you okay with putting an egg on your burger?
On my frita.
Oh yeah.
Are you answering for me?
On your frita.
I'm just going to answer whatever she says from now.
You want an egg.
Sorry, I don't point it. Emily. I'm not going to point it. I don't want to be like you.
Don't be like me.
Be like her.
So you want an egg on your frita, but not on your burger.
Excuse me, a caballo is how I have my frita.
That's right. That's right. That's correct. Oh, man.
Didn't say that on the Chug's menu. It just said add egg.
It said add egg.
I know. I started crying a little bit.
Did you?
Tear.
Was it painful for you? Well, I mean, that's actually a good idea. I could put that on the
what egg
oven.
with the blue cheese would be. That would be interesting.
Really?
You don't think so?
I don't know.
You're saying blue cheese and egg?
Yeah, to do
on the frita.
To do Pop's frita with that had spicy ketchup, caramelized onions, blue cheese. It was like a blue cheese vinaigrette thing that we did.
You use canned potato sticks, I think, right?
Don't you ever accuse me of using canned. The people who use canned potato sticks are actually not fritas at all.
Oof.
I'm sorry.
Hot button question.
No, it's serious. If you're doing picnics, it's not a real frita at all.
I think that we should jump in my car, go to any place that serves those fritas, and we tell them to stick their hands out, and with a ruler, we just slap them on their hands.
And I would agree with that. It's not a real frita if you're using picnics. At that point, you've given up. The whole idea of the frita is the patty and the...
You want to know a frita rule of thumb? Do not ever eat one from a Cuban pizza place. They're all horrendous.
Really?
Yeah.
I've actually never thought about that.
Well, because I see it and I'll stop because I just see frita cubana. I was like, I got to see what this tastes like.
So you're talking about Frankie's Pizza? No, not Frankie's. What's the other one?
Ray's Pizza.
Ray's Pizza. That's the one. Ray's Pizza.
Polo Norte.
Montes de Oca. Yeah. No, actually, that one's not.
He likes Polo Norte.
But is the frita at Polo Norte okay?
Polo Norte the frita's not like the can. Like what happens is a lot of these. There's someone who manufactures a frita patty. I don't know if you know that. So it's like a neon orange patty.
I want
that's
no part
preformed.
Of that. I'm good with mine.
With can sticks.
No, stop that.
I call it the Chug frita.
What a fucking asshole.
Just walking into Montes de Oca, I will have a chug.
Do you consider our frita less of a frita because we don't use Cuban bread?
I might take offense to that.
Do you? Why, if it's bettering the situation?
So that's a reason to break the rules, is what you're saying?
No, but it's not breaking a rule. There are no rules. Is there a rule book for making a frita?
My book says what the rules are.
Yeah, but you wrote the rule book. Since you
no,
wrote
I'll be
the
honest.
Rule book.
So truthfully, going back to Cuba, because you always hear everyone discussing, as far as I know, I've never seen anyone tell me this existed. There were no rolls in Cuba. They didn't have round rolls. So the sandwiches were cut, right? So they were cut off a flauta. So your frita was just a cut loaf of bread. So when they got here to the United States, it makes sense that why, like Frita Domino, which is the first, frita place, and Moro Castle,
hold on,
used hamburger bun.
Can we time out?
We can time out.
I gotta take welcome back to Pan Con Podcast, sponsored by Drew Estate Cigars. Thank you so much, Drew Estate, for giving us all your money.
We're going to play that 5 times by now.
I know. All right, let's talk about the real meat here. We're going to talk about the meat in between the buns.
All right.
Tell me...
Pornhub?
Pornhub is not what we're going to talk about. Pornhub is not what we're going to talk about. That is not what we're going to talk about. Tell me how you, in your current role, why you feel like you differentiate from what people are doing now in the current market of the influencer blogger world.
I'm just doing my own thing. I'm not... I don't have any sponsorships. I don't have anyone paying me for anything. Nor am I looking for someone to do that. You're not going to see a sponsored post. I just wrote something a couple of days ago on the blog, and I even said at the bottom, I can say my actual thoughts because I'm not answering to anyone but myself. So, like I said, I take the pictures. If they look great, they don't. Marcella will cringe sometimes. She's like, I cannot believe you put that up. I'm like, it's just the situation. I'm here. The lighting isn't good. I'll take the picture. I'm just trying to capture the moment, kind of say, hey, check this out. If I eat somewhere and I don't care for it, I don't ever post it. Because that's something some people tell me, oh, you never post anything negative. Well, anyone who's followed me the 12 years will know that at the beginning I did. And what happened is it caused a lot of problems with restaurants. And I felt guilt when one particular restaurant reached out to me and told me that I was affecting his livelihood. And I figured I leave it in his own hands to sink himself. I just will not mention him, and I will only focus on the things I like.
So do you feel like you know, the foundation of what you started, let's say 2009, 10, right? How that's kind of evolved has been, there's a lot of kind of smoke and mirrors behind that entire faction of the world. I don't know if we're going to call it a job, because a lot of people, I don't know if it's really a job, but there's a lot of smoke and mirrors behind all of it.
There is.
We are specifically talking about social media influencing. We're specifically talking about sponsored ad by social media influencers. We're specifically talking about kind of like the bikini model with a large slice of pizza. Bikini.
I know you love saying that.
I love saying that because it's totally accurate. You know, the cheese pull thing, like, we're specifically talking about that. Do you think, like, kind of like the purity in which what you started and a few other people, David Rosendorf, Steve Barry's, I think you would say, what's her name?
Sarah Liss was one of the first bloggers also.
Right.
Something wrong with you?
Feelings. You know, that's completely changed and it's become diluted.
It's just evolved in some. When we started a blog, the reason not a lot of people did blogs, because it's a pain in the fucking ass to write a post, go edit it, and then hope people find it. And then social media made it easier. But what everyone initially, before they were calling themselves influencers, which offended me even more, is they called themselves bloggers. And I'm like, no, to be a blogger, you have to have a blog, you know. So then they were called micro bloggers, and then eventually it just became influencers. And then, like, if you have under a certain amount of followers, you're called a micro influencer. Now, I kind of really grew disillusioned with the whole influencer thing, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 years ago, when I found out that they had these, I don't even know, they're called pods, I think they were called initially. And essentially there's like 20 or 30 of them, private messaging groups in Instagram, where they like each other's posts. And they all go 30, and they all leave comments.
Oh,
so
yeah?
that's why you'll see if you follow certain
so they jack themselves up.
Right, so essentially they give themselves
insider info.
So they give themselves a boost. You'll notice that a lot of them comment on each other's, and if you
course.
follow a couple of them, you know, and a lot of them are very generic, like, that looks so delicious, and then you'll
Stroke me
see
and I
that's so
stroke
delicious
you.
over and over.
Yay.
You know,
And you see the same thing in non-influencers. Like a lot of like home bakers who sell their cookies and stuff will have that kind of pod. Even like in much bigger media, like, and I find it obnoxious that I follow a lot of ESPN accounts, and every time you see like a Sports Center account, like the comments that are highlighted are the comments from ESPN, NBA on ESPN, you know, and all the ESPN properties are commenting on each other's things, and it's all to boost.
Yeah, it's, well, I mean, I would say that I kind of understand that.
I get it, yeah, I get why it
Because, like,
works, and it's a marketing
As a
thing.
restaurant group, I say we should promote each other, you know? So ESPN promoting ESPN, I kind of get.
But then would you I won't bother naming a name, but, you know, some other restaurant group whose owner you're close to, would you entertain the idea of like, hey, you know what, everyone, we'll forward our posts to each other's marketing people and have them comment like, oh, that looks good, and you know.
I've never actually seen that, so I don't know if that's the thing. I know that, like, when the people I support their food thing and what they do, and I think that their food's good, I'll totally support it, and I'll say like, yeah, I can't, you know, I want to go there or whatever the fuck.
It's basically just that, but like in a more organized way.
More calculated.
Yeah.
And then, so you're saying that the influencer world has these calculated group chats that say,
Right.
please support this last post.
yeah, and they're in multiple pods, so don't think that it's one person. I'm in one, and there's 20. I'll be in 5, 6, 7 pods, guaranteeing yourself a bunch of comments, a bunch of likes, and it helps push your numbers up. Now, granted, of course, that helps build up how many times you get seen on Instagram, and it just pushes along the whole algorithm. I tried it when it first started. I didn't understand. I was invited by a friend of mine from New York. I think I lasted a week and a half. I was like, this is like a fucking full-time job. Like, I have to go, and then someone put seafood. I'm like, I have nothing to say about this. You know what I mean? And I realized this is just, I remember I was on a road trip in Atlanta while this was going on, and I wrote them, and I was like, this is not for me, man. I don't understand. I don't find this. I'm not going to be writing about stuff I'm not really interested in. And then I just realized it was just really getting prevalent, and it just brought the rise of all these folks who are doing, the influencing and getting the free dishes all over the place. And look, more power to them.
No.
They're getting people to pay them. Good for you. I just don't
goes
like
back-
being put into that same group because I don't feel I'm doing the same thing.
Well, it goes back to what you said, and I've said it several times. It's like the restaurants are as much to blame here as the influencer themselves. And this is why I don't have many friends. But the truth is, thanks, Dave. The truth is that if you want to adopt that theory, you want to adopt that thing, then you are saying that you're okay with it, and they're going to continue to do that thing. So if I'm okay with people getting free meals, and I'm okay with like propping up the trash that they do, then they're going to continue doing that trash. So it leaves us in a place that it's like a hamster wheel, right? It's like if we say it's okay, then they're going to keep doing it, and then we got to keep on feeding these fucking losers for free. And then we got to keep on fucking stroking these people that don't know shit about food.
You love giving yourself cranke, don't you?
What do you mean? What do you mean? How am I giving myself cranke? I'm just being honest.
You're working yourself up.
I am
That's what I
working
mean.
myself up because the truth is that
it's eventually going to pass, man. It's going to change. Now they're all pushing towards TikTok because TikTok pays them.
I don't even know what the fuck TikTok is still.
Something that's unbearable.
That
I'm like, please just go over there.
Yeah, I believe that. I'm just saying that, it's all like a system. And if you feed into the system continues to crank, and then you give it more, and then the system gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it's like Uber Eats. It's the same fucking thing. The more you give it, the more it's going to feel like it's important, and the bigger it's going to be, and the more powerful it's going to be. And then I just don't believe it's that powerful. Like if someone who really knows about a subject talks about something that's about my food, going back to 2018 when you wrote about our burger, then I'm like, that's amazing. Because Burger Beast obviously knows about fucking burgers, and he thinks that our burger is great, so I love that. You know what I mean? But if some random fucking person talks about our whatever the fuck, I don't care that much. I don't care because I've spent more time learning about that thing than you have about this thing that you want to write about. So if anything, you're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, I can even tell you, I remember it was 2014 when I saw things changing. I asked a question on Twitter and someone answered me, and I was like, who the hell is this? I asked something along the lines of when I was kind of phasing out me doing food truck events, and said, what do you think the value of my Miami Food Trucks website is, or my social media? This person answered, and I was like, what is this? And like, I eventually met him, and I was like, chicle. A lot of these people are like chicles, there's no substance.
They last for 30 seconds and then they go out.
Yeah, there's no real substance. And I see them, and they've kind of embedded
themselves. Yeah, but what
themselves
did they say? Come on, what did they say?
They embedded themselves in kind of the fabric of what's going on.
But what did
and
they
I don't
say?
want to get into those.
What did they say? Come on, no one listens to this thing. What did they say?
Oh no, it's not a matter of. Look, essentially what he was saying is he was giving me information as if he was an expert in the field. And what I'm saying is like, why would this guy know anything? I've never heard of this guy before. And I realized it was right. He was just talking out of his ass, saying something because I paid attention. And that was my mistake. I paid attention.
Right.
I should have just totally ignored it. And that's the first time I realized there's a lot of people trying to pass themselves off like they know something or they're experts. And I think that sometimes if people were a little more transparent, maybe they wouldn't have the followings they have. But again, it doesn't affect me. They can do whatever they want. I've been spent the last year rebuilding my blog to kind of distance myself from social media altogether and just work out of my blog and my.
You don't, but truthfully, you don't think it really affects you?
What do you mean?
You don't think that the cheapening of what kind of like how you started and then what it's evolved into, what they continue to do, you don't think that cheapens what you do? Because I think what they do cheapens what I do.
I could see your point. I'm over it. I think is what the real problem is.
God bless you.
I have to let it go, man, because the reality is, and we're bringing it up here, and I'm starting to give myself cranky, But I have to let it go because there's...
Give yourself credit, bro. Come on. It's fine.
Look,
We're
man,
an hour 6. It's good.
They can dupe whoever they want to give them money. That's good for them. They can do whatever they want. Stay out of my world. I do interact with some of the influencers. I do like them personally, and I can differentiate liking someone personally on the business side. That means I don't like what you fucking do, but I like you as a person.
I'm the same way. I mean,
So
a lot of people would disagree, but I am the same way. I don't support what you do. I'm sure you're a nice person, but that doesn't mean that I need to support what you do.
I mean, just like you, because of my opinion of influencers, many of them don't care for me. They've never even met me, just because they don't like what I say, and that's okay. I've been living this
thing.
I had a bunch of food truck owners who didn't know me, who hated me. I've had restaurant owners who hated me, that have never met me. Believe what you want. I don't give a shit. My wife loves me. My family loves me. I have friends. I don't really care. There's people who follow my blog who are my fans. They're super cool. And that's all that really matters to me. If you don't like me, I delete people's comments from my Instagram. I openly admit it.
Oh, yeah?
As a matter of fact, I just made it so you can't leave comments on my Instagram unless you follow me. Because and it's not because it's a dissenting point of view. I get people who think they're slick and write about their friends' restaurant. I put a Chug's cheeseburger and they'll be like, "Oh my God, you know what's really good? Have you been to the Fuddruckers?" I'm like, come on, I don't know that's like your relative. I delete stuff like that all the time. Why would you just bring up randomly something that has nothing to do with what we're discussing? And I don't like people who like hijack posts. I'm telling you, hey, you should check this place out. Have you been to, and a totally off topic, which makes me think this person is suspicious. So of course I let me check, and then they're private, and I go, forget it, I'll just delete it. It's not even worth keeping this comment up.
Interesting.
And if people don't like it, then don't follow me.
I don't know. I feel like it's interesting that you've totally blocked that world, because I do feel like it cheapens what you do, and people that.
But I don't make money from that world. That's what people don't understand. I've always made money from the auxiliary of like doing events and selling products and stuff. I don't make money because I'm on Instagram. No one pays me to put ads. You know how much bullshit emails I get pitching me like, our restaurant opens Wednesday, and I'm like, delete, and then I can't stop them. It's like a never-ending chain of receiving emails. I don't really care. I seek out, when I live in Flagami, my parents live in Westchester, my sister lives in Kendall. When I drive, I take the inroads, I look at the streets, I look for new places that are opening. I'll go back, I want to try this restaurant because it's right here. I go to Hialeah a lot, Little Havana. Those are the places I drive around, and I look to support those businesses. Like we spoke earlier, I don't need to go to the beach. I don't need to go to some knucklehead hyped chef from New York. I don't give 3 shits who he is. Doesn't make a difference to me.
Love that.
I don't care about anyone who's on TV. I only care about people that I'm friends with that are on TV. And that's a whole other topic altogether. I remember 10 years ago when someone I knew was on TV, it's like, oh my God, now everyone's on TV for just anything. What is it with you and Sade, by the way?
Sade is amazing. What do you mean? What is there not to be?
The only time I've liked Sade is she was the entrance music for Rick Rude when he was in Florida Championship Wrestling.
Sade is the queen, man. She's amazing.
No interest in that.
No, I mean, listen, I don't know what kind
My
of music.
queen is PJ Harvey. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know who that is, Imagínate. I have it in my list to suggest. I haven't even gotten to my list. I haven't even talked bad about Larry Carino yet.
Oh, man. Larry Carino would take that very seriously. He was very worried that you're going to be on the podcast today.
He should be.
Larry Carino is my publicist. Consigliere is what I call him. And apparently you guys have beef.
No, we don't have beef. He's just delusional.
Why is he delusional? Please explain.
When I used back before,
can you pull up your notes? I want to go through these.
No, I actually have notes about people who have been on the show and what I wanted to say about them.
Perfect. I love this.
I don't think this is
now on the next segment of Did Not Like DNLs by.
Yeah, I have Peter Santa-María, Guillermo Del Toro story.
Wait, listen. He called in for that one, so we're already aware.
Jason and Mel, they said that I was their cola guy. I mean, that is kind of true. I think kind of. I don't know if you remember that from the Babes.
Cola guy?
Yeah, because you guys were talking about the craft colas that they have there, and they like it.
Interesting.
And he said that Sef's our cola guy. What it is when I would do the pop-ups, I would buy cases of soda. I'm like, what am I going to do with that? I don't have a restaurant. So Jason would buy whatever sodas I didn't end up selling for my cases. So he would say, I'm like, Sef's my sundries. I would sell them. I also sold them candy bars that I sold.
Oh, yeah.
Tony's Choco Lonely, by the way, are very delicious.
Those sound very delicious.
They're like a Wonka bar. They're like this big.
I don't even know what that is, and I want that.
Tony's Choco Lonely.
Can we go back to your list here about former podcast guests?
Uh-huh. Well, podcast guests that I care about. I mean, there's people here that...
Listen.
Matt Hinckley. You know, Matt, I've gone to eat at his place 3 times, and the fucking guy's never there. I'm thinking he's hiding from me. I'm convinced. Look, hides from me when I hit up Orlando. Look.
Okay. I see Billy Corbin is next.
Yeah, Billy Corbin, he puts me to sleep whenever he talks too much.
Ooh, great. So you must have slept through the whole podcast that we had.
Yeah. He was on it.
He did this thing? Weird.
I usually put that on to go to sleep.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the ocean noise, you know, like Billy Corbin, and same thing.
Yeah, no, I love Billy in particular because he pisses a lot of people off, and I find that amusing.
Is that the only reason?
No, I mean, personally, him and I don't ever talk. Everyone's like, they know, obviously, the whole political thing that he's got going on Twitter. And people get worked up, and they know I'm friends with him. So you're like, oh, your buddy Billy. I'm like, look, dude, I talk to Billy about film and food. I don't discuss anything else with him. That's all we talk about. So I don't know about anything. But I find it funny that everyone comes to vent to me about him when I don't really even care about that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people came to me, too, about Billy when he was on the podcast. It's like, well, this guy, like, he hates Cubans and blah, blah. And I said, you know, I can disagree with people that are on the podcast a million times. It's not, I don't have to, like you to have you on here. It's part of the thing. And I disagree with Billy plenty. But, you know, I can't. That's why he's his own human being. He can say whatever the fuck he wants. It's part of life, you know. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I think he's a cool guy. Except for putting me to sleep, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like him too. I think he does good work with his actual job. That doesn't have to do with talking about politics and Cubans, which he spends 90% of his time doing.
Yeah, I think that's all the notes for that. And
no, Danny. What's next with Danny Surfer? I know you had Danny Surfer notes.
No, I didn't have Danny Surfer.
You did have Danny Surfer notes.
I really don't.
You do.
I do not.
I am pissed.
By the way, you know when I first met Danny Surfer?
Here it is.
He came running up to me at Sakaya Kitchen.
Oh, yeah?
To introduce himself to me. I'm not lying.
Running?
Running. Well,
did he ask you for an autograph?
A light jog.
A yo-yo
No, he asked to take a picture with me, which I was caught off guard, and then he told me he was a chef at 15th Street Fisheries. And I went there to eat, and he serves me oysters, and I was like, you got the wrong fella, dude.
Yeah, wrong guy.
I was like, chicken wings, yes. Burger, yes. Oysters, no. Ostiones, no. Aquí no.
Yeah. So you never had an oyster?
Yeah.
And you don't like them?
I mean, if you consider liking oysters, the ones that are doused in butter and cheese, yeah.
Love those kinds. That's good. Rockefeller sounds amazing. All right, so
but I don't really consider that an oyster. You know what I mean? Like, if you tell me I love cheeseburgers, I go, well, what do you get? And they pile like 40 things on. I'm like, I don't think you really like cheeseburgers.
So do you
just like a bunch of shit?
Do you like just like a straightforward just cheeseburger? Okay, so Burger Beast, you can build your own burger. I know you obviously have your own burger, but you can build your own burger.
Uh-huh.
What is that burger?
What I've learned from my road trips and from studying when I was going to write my book available on Amazon.com.
I own 3 copies of that book.
Actually, if you buy it from my website, from my web store, I can sign it.
You should buy them from the web store. I would, yeah.
And, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, okay. So we do these road trips, and what I find is all these restaurants have burger joints that are pre-1930 have some variation of pickle, mustard, onion. Maybe it's just onion, maybe it's pickle, and you know, so mustard and pickle, mustard and onion, sometimes all 3. They're usually like 2 to 3 ounce
What kind of
patties.
mustard?
Yellow.
Just French's mustard, like yellow mustard.
My burger, soft squishy bun, which is like the old school cheapy, not the Publix brand, because the Publix hamburger bread is horrible.
Okay.
I mean, have you ever tried building a hot dog on a bread from Publix, like their brand hot dog bread?
No.
It just fucking falls apart.
No,
I put chili on there, and that thing, it was like I was just eating my hand pretty much by the end of the... I was like, I ate the bread at some point here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, like, at least one that actually kind of stands up. Thing is also, when you start getting out, and I'm in Mississippi, and I'm in Indiana, they source all the meat locally there. So you're not they actually get a local baker there to make those burger buns. So a lot of it is just from the area.
It's a much different like ecosystem food-wise.
So when I go there and I'm like, how is this burger fresh beef, a local bun, all this stuff $2.50 and it's phenomenal, and you're like, because this could not occur in Miami. This would cost at least $10 if you were trying to get, if we had local beef, if we had a local baker that just made a regular bun, and no one does. Everyone has to do some beautiful brioche bun.
Right.
No one does.
You like brioche buns?
I like them.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Was that a trick question?
Yeah, I mean, I was just asking your opinion. That wasn't a trick question.
What if I said I like pretzel buns?
Yeah, I mean, I like them. I
don't like them.
I like pretzel buns, but I don't.
No,
I don't choose to have my burger on a pretzel bun.
I kind of feel it's like a battle. Like pretzel buns, I think are kind of sometimes a little too much. I don't like where I got to battle like what's holding the burger.
I feel like I'm okay with the pretzel bun with nothing in it. I'll smear some shit in it, and I don't need a burger patty.
What about if you smear some pimento cheese inside of it?
Oh man, what is the palmetto cheese?
Yes.
Palmetto cheese. Yeah. Now we're talking about shit that I can really fucking get with. Palmetto cheese, I'm all about.
So when I go on the road trips, it's a variation of my friend John, friend Ed, my wife Marcella, and my cousin Fred. And when we go, they all laugh because the minute I walk in and I see pimento, I'm like, I don't even care what this is. I'm getting this pimento cheese. So I have a pimento cheese on I went to an actual Amish restaurant and they had pimento cheese on a fresh baked croissant. Or croissant, right?
Croissant. Croissant.
Yeah, depends on, maybe there's someone listening in France. Maybe now they understand better what's going on.
Well, we are in 14 countries. Right, yeah. We are Spotify told us so.
According to Spotify.
According to Spotify, we're in 14 countries. So maybe in France, some random guy.
Pimento cheeseburgers, that just a smash burger with some pimento cheese. I think that's great.
Oh, yeah?
But as far as I was just going pickle.
But let me ask you, the pimento cheeseburger, is that like seared and then the pimento cheese is cold on the bun?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Not on the bun, on the actual burger.
But cold?
Some people, yeah, you just scoop it and just put it on there.
Interesting.
Yeah. We actually had someone from Alvinton, Kentucky who came to compete at a hamburger house party, Boyce General Store, and they made the pimento cheese while they were and they did a pimento cheeseburger. They call it pigmento.
I love that.
Yeah.
Why pigmento? What did they do? They had bacon on it? They had bacon? Yeah, it makes sense. What was the bun?
I don't remember the bun.
Was this a white bun?
I think it was a more elevated than just a regular bun, to be honest.
But that's the thing. I like to go back to like the general, like the classic, the way things are supposed to be, and then that never wins all of your shit things.
Let's see who's won. That's a good point you bring up. So, people always ask me with the events, they seem to think that they're rigged. What they don't know is that the events are without a doubt not rigged in any way. Okay. I can
just yours.
Huh?
Just yours.
What do you mean?
No, I mean I think a lot of events are rigged, but
mine is without a doubt 100% not rigged. 5 people at least see the votes. Okay. I mean, so it'd have to be all 5 of us would be in cahoots, and trust me, there's people who won that I could wish I could take back, or even at the event I could be like, I wish that person didn't win, but they won. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, it is what it is.
You know, and then I see Trust and Company win Best Croqueta, and 6 months later they're out of business.
Oh yeah, I
don't even know how they won, to be quite honest with you. And a lot of times, though, you know, I had a guy who won who came from Texas. They were originally Miami guys. They were doing pop-ups in Texas at a farmer's market. They were doing croquetas. They made croquetas for me to try because I wouldn't let them in unless I tried it. I said, it's cool. They're Miami guys. I let them in. They actually won. They stopped doing croquetas 2 months after they won.
Why?
Too much work.
It's a pain in the fucking ass. Yes, we were just talking about that before we started recording the thing.
And that's the reality. I mean, I've kind of wanted to go away when events eventually come back. I'm only doing Croqueta Palooza as the only event, and it's probably not going to be a competition anymore. I mean, they'll still have restaurants. They just won't have a winner. It'll be just a celebration of the. I think that's
great.
Then I changed my mind.
I mean, this is my thought process. I think that the Food Network changed the dynamic of like the food competition thing, right? And I think instead of food becoming a community thing, which I think food is a community-based thing, communities supporting each other in serving great food, it became like this big fucking pissing match for no fucking reason, When really, I like your food. I like your food. Let's all just like each other's food and just fucking, because that's what food is. It's about, joining at a table, enjoying the food, enjoying the company, enjoying all the things, and instead it became a big fucking mess, I think. So, I do feel like restaurants should be reviewed, but I do think that food competitions should die. And I think that's an interesting perspective, but I only feel that way because competitions in and of itself breed this whole like subculture of like talking shit about each other for no reason, when really it's just like, I like your food and I like your food and I like mine. I'm like, let's just fucking like each other's food and support each other. Reviews are a different thing. I think reviews come from like actual good writing, which doesn't exist anymore. So, that's my thought process.
I just think the event is overdone. How many best burger competitions are there?
There's a lot. I don't know. Is there?
Yeah.
Really?
Every city probably has 2 to 3. Fort
We
Lauderdale,
have
Barra
2 to 3?
Boca.
Oh, they did?
I stopped doing mine a few years ago. When I started doing my pop-ups, I chose not to do. I felt it would be kind of ridiculous for me to be doing pop-ups and selling burgers, and at the same time doing a competition to find the best burger.
Makes sense.
So I stopped doing it. And that's when I was like, the only thing I will do is Croqueta Palooza, because I will not be making fucking croquetas, that's for sure.
That's for sure. God bless you for making that
And
smart
Croqueta
choice.
Palooza was Frita Showdown on roids. I took Frita Showdown, that was something I dedicated to the memory of my grandparents, and about everything that I grew up being Cuban, the café con leche, from croquetas to flan, and Frita Showdown had croquetas. It had 5 fritas, croquetas, anything that I could think of that was Cuban, guayaba, queso, timba, and I put it, and then I just expanded it with Croqueta Palooza, and then I added the Flantastic, which was like the flan competition, and I still love that event. It just reminds me of my grandparents, which is why I like to have cafecito there. You can have un cortadito. You have obviously the croquetas, but then I always try to get, someone doing some sandwiches, so there's a variety. I one time tried doing a standalone event called Sugar Pie, a dessert event. What a disaster. I'll tell you why it was a disaster. I thought I'm going to do it on a Sunday afternoon, and I did craft beer, coffee, and desserts. Not that they really mix, but I don't know, for some reason I thought this was a good combination.
Craft beer, coffee, and desserts.
Right.
I mean, I guess I could see it.
So I had probably about 6 to 7 craft beers, I think 3 or 4 coffees, mostly espressos, and then I think 6 to 7 desserts. And then I made the mistake of having Junior's Burgers, who had just won a hamburger house party, and someone else. I did 2 people doing savory, and I put them on either side. And they were the only ones that had lines. Man. People went through people were like waiting to eat. I'm like, this is a dessert thing. I wasn't really trying to. So I was like, because it didn't do what I wanted it to be, I stopped doing it. I did kind of integrate it into one of the events, but yeah, I just thought, it'd be cool to just do a dessert event, not like that debacle that exists called Dessert Wars. Oh, sorry, that's
that exists. What is that? Where's that? Sobe?
No. You can't help yourself.
Oh, I can't help myself. I cannot help myself on people enriching themselves on a bunch of people that are struggling to make money. I cannot help but destroy that entire faction of people that you may like them and they may have treated you well, but
they give me a back rub too.
I don't doubt that. that I do not doubt that they gave you a back rub.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
On the other side of this bathroom break, we will talk about Sef's favorite flan, and then we will start to wrap up this episode of Pan Con Podcast. Where were we? Flan.
You wanted to talk flan?
You did an event called Flan what?
Flantastic.
Flantastic. And who won that event?
Fireman Derek.
I believe it was Fireman Derek.
He won the first
one.
That's
right.
Our last guest on the podcast won Flantastic.
Fireman Derek was on this podcast?
Just on Monday.
Oh my God, I got so many things to say about that guy, but I haven't heard the episode.
Love that. Tell me more. Tell me more.
I will not say the story, sorry. Maybe I'll say it off. I can't say it.
Good.
But it's funny. But it's a funny story.
Tranque everywhere.
I met Fireman Derek because he was selling desserts to La Camaronera. He was selling his key lime pie.
Which is great.
And when I did my first food truck event at the Adrian Arts Center with the Heralds, there were no dessert trucks. So he set up a tent with his dad, and he was selling his desserts. And he had, I think, only like coconut cream pie. He had the key lime pie, and I forgot what the third thing was. Michael Schwartz was there. He had his little hot dog cart, selling like an elevated hot dog, I think. No, he had a dessert, and he had like some sort of lemonade that was good.
When you want a sweet, what is the thing that you gravitate towards?
I'm not that much into sweets, so there's certain things that I do like. Flan is one. I think also some of that is just an association with my grandmother.
Oh yeah. I've had flan at your house with your mom.
Shh! Don't tell anybody.
No, it's amazing. That was an amazing experience, right? To sit there and touch it with you, and your mom like give us flan and like hang out. That was a good time. That was after you had that accident.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Dude, let me tell you, I like knocked out. Like, I came to and I was upside down in my car. Cause I don't wear a seatbelt.
Yeah.
Surprised if someone wants to give me a ticket. I mean, my left leg was hooked over the steering wheel and my head was laying on the passenger seat. And somehow my pocket was hooked into the little stick that so like when I came to, there's someone knocking on my window. Hey, wow. And I look up and I'm like, what the hell just happened? And I tried hitting the button, but that's the side I got hit on, so the door wouldn't open. They actually came around and someone goes, hey, I'm gonna grab your leg. And he grabbed my leg and then I just like fell back into the seat. I actually took a picture that day and sent it to my friends, and they thought I was kidding. I was like, no, dude. I had like some blood on my head, and I was just, I like just lost that moment of time. I don't even know how long I was passed out for.
Do you think that experience changed perspective on life?
Perspective on life? No, I've always kind of thought like I lost my best friend when I was very young, and I always, and he was 17, and so I was 18.
You were the same age?
Yeah, I was a few months older than him.
Right.
I had just turned 18. It was senior year, so I remember thinking, I was thinking this guy and I are going to be friends forever, and now I talk to his parents, and it's odd because really the only thing we have in common is that I was friends with your son, 20-something years ago. Actually, next year will be 30 years he passed away. So it's kind of an odd relationship to have with someone, because I'm sure when they see me, they think our son would have been this age.
Right.
So I've always had that proper perspective. Like, that doesn't stop me from doing stuff like when I went years ago skydiving and stuff like that.
You went skydiving? Yeah. I'm petrified of that, man.
You should be.
I'm petrified of heights, period. I get on a fucking ladder and I start shaking like a little bitch.
So I want to be clear, because someone's going to say he didn't go skydiving. I mean, I was not as big as I am now, so I was sitting, so I don't want someone to say, bullshit, that guy went skydiving. So when I was on the plane, I thought the guy was messing with me because I did tandem jump, right? Because I think you had to take X amount of hours to not do a tandem jump, and I wasn't going to do that, so I did a tandem jump. The guy hooks onto me.
Tandem means with someone else.
Right, the guy was hooked to my back. I was probably almost, I'd say 8 inches taller than the guy. So it was like an odd pairing. We're seated, and everyone sits in the plane with their legs open, at least when I did it.
Right.
And so he's sitting behind me, and while we're sitting there, he goes, oh shit. I don't know if he did this on purpose. He goes, oh shit. And then I hear like a clamp. And I'm like, is this guy fucking with me? Like, did he just pretend that this thing was not clamped properly? And then we get to the doors open, and he goes, we're going on 3. He goes, either you go or I push this. So he goes, 1, 2, 3, and I jumped. Made the bad mistake of having my mouth open and just swallowing a bunch of air.
Yeah.
And then when he pulls the chute, or I think I pulled the chute, the way it was strapped on my legs wasn't wrong. It was on either side of my crotch. It yanked me so hard, I had bruises on the other side of my crotch. Wow. The next day. I remember I was in pain walking around. And then when we went to go land, remember, I'm supposed to put my feet up so he can land and then I land. But because there's such a difference in heights, we fell back and then the wind started dragging us back. But I actually have pictures of me getting strapped in, and I have a picture of me like in the sky. And there might be other pictures, but the only other thing I ever wanted to do was go into a shark cage, and that I never did.
Never did?
No.
I think I would do that before jumping out of a plane.
I think now I would be dead meat if I went into a shark cage. I definitely would not be able to get out of there in time if I could get in there.
No,
like I'd have to butter myself up first, I think, to slide in, and then it'd be like, oh shit, how the hell did I get out?
There's like certain things in my life it's like a weird like inside of me fear. Heights is like one of them. Like if I'm in a weird place that's too high, my body instantly shakes. It's the craziest thing, and I don't know why, but ever since I was a kid, it's like just petrified.
What about roller coasters?
Never been on one.
Really?
Never.
So in Vegas, there's a place called the Stratosphere, and they had a roller coaster on top, like a straight up, and they had a roller coaster that went around, but it had like an observation deck on the bottom, which technically, if you fell off, I guess you could fall on the observation deck and then just take everyone out down there.
Yeah.
You know? And I remember getting on the roller coaster, and it was going relatively fast. You're, I don't know, 30, 40 stories up. The fucking thing stops 100 feet from the end, and all of a sudden the ride starts going back, kick, like one click out of like click, and we're in the front row, so we're like, what the fuck is going on? And all of a sudden, like a scene from a movie, a side door opens. Everything's okay, and we're like, oh my god, because like everything's okay means, oh no, all shit, all hell's about to break loose. And then they were able to fix whatever the issue. They brought us back, and they said, to make it up for you, we'll put you back on. I go, no,
I'm good.
I'm like, I'm definitely not riding right after you corrected whatever the situation was.
When I was in college, I used to. So one of my best friends, his dad worked for an airline, which I won't name, and he put me on the family and friends list because I was, we didn't have a ton of money, so I couldn't fly back and forth to come see the family. So one trip, and it was always like, if there was extra seats, then you can get on the plane. So one trip, I was in North Carolina, and I was getting on a plane or whatever, and then we were, talk about like that last second, what the fuck. So the plane's taking off, and as soon as the front tires take off, it just drops back down. It's like, we're having minor difficulties, whatever, esto y lo otro. No big deal. We're there for 45 minutes, and they're like, there's a serious problem with the plane. We're just not going to take off. If you guys, want whatever, we'll be back up and running in like an hour. And I was like, no, I'd much rather take another plane. I feel better with like taking another plane, especially me that I'm petrified of heights. So I used to like almost literally drug myself to get on a plane so we could fucking take off. And that was the last time that like that feeling of like it's about to happen and then it stops and you're like, nah, I'd rather not do this right now. It's like, you can get on it again. I'm like, nah, another plane would be better. I'd feel better with that.
Yeah, the heights thing is the shark thing seems interesting to me, but have no interest.
I've always been fascinated since I was a kid about like underwater. I feel like I'm a big sci-fi guy, so obviously The Abyss, like that movie for me, always like stuck with me.
I never saw it in the theater. I regretted it, but
well,
I did have the special edition.
I don't think I was of age to see it in theater when
89
it
came out.
Yeah,
in 89.
I was 4.
I actually own the special edition Laserdisc of The Abyss.
Love that. Love that. That's so good.
Yeah, dude, that thing was, I think, 2 discs, and because it was like higher. It wasn't really compressed, so I think I had to turn the movie 4 times. Like it was like one, then you have to flip it. Then eventually I got high tech and I bought the Laserdisc player that played both sides. So like it'd play and then it'd stop and then you hear woo 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 woo, and then it starts playing the reverse side of it.
That's amazing. What a good movie though, The Abyss.
It is, and I'm surprised no one ever talks about that film.
Oh man, it's so good. The Abyss, and I feel like Cocoon at that time also were like 2 of my favorite movies when I was a kid. And
that's a weird movie to like as a kid.
Cocoon?
Yeah.
Why?
You don't think so? Isn't everyone in that film like 60 years old?
Yeah, they are. That's true. They are like 60 years old. It's true. Yeah, I don't know. It's like the underwater, I don't know. But since I love sci-fi, I thought The Abyss was fascinating because it was like in our ocean and this whole like science fiction thing. And that's like could actually be a thing because we've only actually discovered, 15% of our actual ocean. So
What about Tremors?
I loved Tremors when I was a kid. I loved Tremors. Not when they did like Tremors like 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But like Tremors 1
The
was
original
like
Tremors.
Yeah, the original Tremors was good. Just like they should have stopped at the original Independence Day. I think I would have been okay with that. Independence Day 2, they lost me there. It was a far cry, but they did it in 2015, right? 16, some shit like that. So it was lost.
I don't even know if I saw it.
I tried to watch it. I attempted. All right. Well, I think
That's the end of our flan segment.
I don't think we're ever going to get to the end.
no, I think we're going to talk about the end.
This is where we do
I
the
think
wind down.
we've unpacked the fact that Seth will have to come back for another episode that we actually maybe structure and we talk about things that matter.
I don't know what just happened. We're going to do our parting recommendations.
Let's talk about DNLs first.
Oh, man.
I introduced a new segment called Did Not Like.
Oh, I thought you said DSL. Sorry.
That's totally different segment, and that's for the OnlyFans version of the show. Did not like. What did you have in your recent memory that you did not like?
The amount of shitty programming on Netflix. Or you want me to be more specific? Like,
Well,
I saw
just
this.
Name like one thing you saw on Netflix that you thought was trash.
I don't even make it past most stuff. And if I'm, you know what the problem is with Netflix now?
Oh, man.
Is that I connect it with IMDb. So like I see a movie and before I just like, well, that sounds pretty good. I'll watch it. Now I'm like, let me see Rotten Tomato, and then I talk myself out of watching the movie.
Yeah, but IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes are kind of like the food influencers. They've been bought.
Well, I'm just trying
I mean,
to.
from my understanding, a lot of that has happened. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I think the problem is that if I see something that's like a 5.5 on IMDb, I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna get that. But then the other day I watched a movie that's 5.5 on IMDb, and I couldn't even tell you the name right now. And Marcel and I loved it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I've been following this for the last few years, and this doesn't necessarily work. Something I haven't really liked, man. I honestly can't think of anything.
Interestingly enough, that I introduced a segment, I don't know if there's anything in the last week I haven't disliked.
And that's been your...
No, but Nick, do you not have anything?
This is a great segment.
I know.
This is really good.
I love it.
What have I not liked?
You're the savior of the segment, Nick. Come on, take it home strong.
Man.
I did not like.
Okay.
No, I actually did like it. No, but go on.
Okay. Some people will disagree with me very strongly on this.
Which is your life in total. Go on.
I had some recently just because I wanted a snack and that was the only one within arm's reach. I recently did not like, and I have never liked, double stuffed Oreos. I like the standard stuffed proportions.
Wait. How do you
Oreos?
feel?
Is that what he said?
Double stuffed Oreos.
Yeah.
I don't like Oreos at all. Aren't they vegan?
They are.
They are,
It's
actually,
got vegetable shortening and powdered sugar,
Despicable.
essentially.
Okay.
So
No,
you don't
I'm
like Oreos at all?
I don't really eat Oreos. I like the vanilla Oreos.
So DNL is he doesn't like Oreos, and you don't
Okay.
like double stuffed Oreos.
I don't like double
and
stuffed
me,
Oreos.
I personally love fucking Oreos.
If it was vanilla double stuffed, then I would like.
But why vanilla? Because you don't like the chocolate wafer?
Right, I like the vanilla wafer.
But that's
And
still a
if
vegan...
Insert Carlos Frias is an Oreo a sandwich.
Don't even play with that.
I mean, I think they even say... Do they say sandwich on the packaging?
They may.
They might call it a sandwich cookie.
They may. Do you consider my peanut butter and jelly taco a sandwich?
No.
You don't?
No.
What about you? Oh, me neither.
Mhm.
It's a stoner
I think
invention.
I think that on your next episode, you got to do shots every time you bring up Carlos Frias and sandwiches.
It's like
Are
a
you
college
just-
drinking game. Carlos Frias said what? All right, take a shot. Boom.
I would be more inclined to say it was a sandwich if you made a peanut butter and jelly dia.
A what?
You take 2 tortillas.
Oh, yeah, quesadilla.
Quesadilla, PB&J quesadilla, peanut butter and jelly dia.
I've done a croqueta dia.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Sounds like a
I
great...
would-
Again, that was out of necessity because I had no bread.
Yeah, but
Just-
do you mind using like flour? Okay, so do you like flour tortillas or corn?
I like corn for tacos, yeah. But
For tacos.
for quesadillas, I don't think I've ever had a corn
Yeah. That's not a
Yeah,
thing.
no.
quesadilla.
I mean, I'm like You remember when Richard opened that
The one in downtown?
Yeah, the taco place.
I never went.
Yeah, when he used to do the gringo tacos, which were the flour tortillas, I thought they were delicious. So good. So good. And people shit on flour tortillas, and I think they're amazing.
What do you get at Taco Bell?
What do I get at Taco Bell? I'm a Crunchwrap Supreme guy. You obviously haven't listened to this show. It's fine. I
know.
won't take offense to
I
it.
know.
I
I actually was very close to ordering a Domino's pizza here today.
Oh, man. I would have loved that. That would have been so good. God. But what do you get at Domino's?
The cheeseburger pizza.
They have a cheeseburger pizza?
Yeah.
That's new, right?
It's relatively new,
Yeah,
And it's good? You co-sign it?
We're
not getting paid for this, by the way.
Yeah, we're not getting paid. As a matter of fact, I was battling with Domino's for the last 2 weeks.
Why?
Because I ordered the cheeseburger pizza and they brought me the fucking taco pizza. And when I called them, said, "Can you just?"
Pizza? What the fuck is going on right now?
I was like, "Can I just get the cheeseburger pizza I wanted?" They're like, "Sorry, we're too busy. We can't correct your order." I'm like, "What?" And then they're like, "We'll give you a gift card." I don't want a gift card. I want my pizza.
Oh man.
And then they're like, "I'm gonna refund you," and then they didn't refund me. So I've been battling via DM with Twitter. I can even show you. It's like ridiculous.
Can you show it? We'll post it on on our Instagram that no one follows. We'll post that. And
they came out with 3 pizzas. It was the taco, the cheeseburger, and a third one. And it was this was in the last year at some point.
Well, no, actually in the last 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, and it's the first time they added new menu items in 15 years.
Yeah, and then Papa John's brought back their cheeseburger pizza, which is not very good.
But you got to be honest, Domino's better than Papa John's.
I'll tell you why I like Domino's, but I think you won't even guess.
Okay.
If you had to guess, why do you think I would like Domino's?
I mean, I honestly have no idea. I think their tomato sauce is better.
I like Domino's for 2 things. I like the thin crust.
I love the thin crust.
So I get the cheeseburger thin crust.
Oh man,
and
I want to order that
because
right
they have,
now.
out of all
Right
the major chains, they have Coke products.
Oh,
And
yeah?
I don't drink Pepsi products
Why don't you drink Pepsi products?
because I don't like them.
That's it.
I just don't care for Pepsi. I think it's too sweet. I think Coke is not as sweet, and also Coke has a little thing when you drink it in the back of your throat.
I have this interesting thing. I feel like Coke is absolutely destroying all of my insides.
Oh, I'm sure it's destroyed my insides.
It's just like when it goes down the inside of my body, I feel like it's burning all of it. Like, I don't feel that with Pepsi. I don't drink either one, to be honest. If you're saying, hey, Mike, pick a soda, I'm going Jupiña all day. Like, that is my choice. All 56 grams of sugar in that one fucking 12-ounce can, that's where I'm going. I'm not a soda guy, though. If Jupiña wasn't an option, if ginger ale's there, I'm picking ginger ale over all.
No, Gabe made Jupiña old-fashioned.
Oh, yeah? Was it good?
For one of my boxes. Yeah, Kawi actually gave me a 2-liter concentrate of Jupiña.
Man. We're actually... Kawi just followed me on Instagram, and I'm honored, by the way. They're
awesome.
I was honored when they followed me. I shared the photo with Nick. I said, I think I finally made it. Chief Liz and Kawi follows me. Like, I may have made it.
Well, now you got to get into the factory so you can watch the machines at work. The Laverne and Shirley machines going on.
I love that. Mm-hmm. But, in the evolution of, Chugs, which we have a meeting tomorrow that I've been talking about for fucking 7
They don't have fountain.
We would never do fountain. I don't believe in fountain sodas. I'm sorry. I feel like the upkeep of the lines really fucks up the whole soda thing, and people never upkeep them the right way. So I never want soda lines in any of my restaurants ever.
Glass bottle.
Glass bottle.
Yeah, but they won't do that.
No, but Jupiña, I wish they did a glass bottle. It would be amazing. But
I know. I was harassing them about that.
Were you? And they just wouldn't do it?
It's just production. They have to change the equipment.
And it makes sense. I understand that. When you're at that production level, that's a huge
they have a big
change.
warehouse, but they're not obviously Coca-Cola. It's got a factory every city.
Every 10 miles.
Yeah.
So, we've been talking about because we're gonna have liquor at the new Chugs. I have a full bar
for breakfast.
Well, I mean, you could buy booze whenever you want. But,
Cafe
Chugs.
con leche White Russian. Okay.
That's actually, I would love that. Cafe con leche White Russian. We can call it Beast White Russian. I love it. The Beast Rusa. We can call it.
Excuse me.
Beast Rusa. Rusa Beast.
That's good.
I like it.
Thanks, comrade.
Yeah, we coming up with some kind of cocktails with some of these old sodas has been a thing, and Jupiña, there was one. I'm not going to mention it now because someone will steal our idea that I thought was delicious, and we're going to test it next week and see if it's good with Jupiña.
Well, they gave me the 2 liter because I told them I was going to make a honey mustard hoopinha sauce.
Oh, that sounds good.
And I made it, and it was so freaking sweet. I was like, and
well, with concentrate, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But what kind of mustard did you use?
No, I did yellow mustard. I was just trying to do a regular honey mustard and add some hoopinha and added a few spices in there. And then I mentioned it to Gabe. Hey, I have an entire 2 liter of hoopinha concentrate. And he goes, man, I could make a old fashioned. I'm like, bro, it's yours. So he ended up making a bunch of. I wish I still had jars. I would have brought them. He made me a bunch of little bottles.
If you had to choose, actually, we'll save that for the Patreon segment. I'm going to leave it out.
Okay.
People got to pay for that.
Right.
And now for the wind down. Yeah, recommendations. I recommend listening to Pongo Podcast, sponsored by Drew Estate Cigars.
That's a shameless plug.
Yeah, that's true. It is.
You know what? I did not like that.
That's good. That's good.
What are you recommending, Mike? Or Seth, if you want to lead with a recommendation.
Yeah, I'm going to mention a few things here and there.
Here we go.
Music.
Notes.
Everyone who says rock is dead,
yeah,
I think listen to the Rival Sons, best rock band out of California. Not out of only California. I'm just saying best rock band in the last few years.
Okay. The Rival Sons.
Yes, the Rival
All right.
Sons. Food. I'm going to tell people. Well, obviously I would say Chug, but Chug's not here, so got to give my peeps, Amadi Mix, Arbetters, Frankie's, and O'Dali's Delight in Westchester. Visit those.
Amadi's Mix, O'Dali's Delight. Where's O'Dali's Delight?
Westchester.
O'Dali
and Amadi Mix and O'Dali's are actually in the same strip mall. They're in 97 in Corway.
Yeah.
And then, Frankie's and Arbetters are on Burger. Film. I know Peter brought up that scoundrel beat me to mentioning Army of Darkness, but Army of Darkness, these are the films that I absolutely love. Army of Darkness, Buena Vista Social Club, The Devil's Backbone, or La Espinaza del Diablo, depending on which version you see. Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Seven, The Seventh Seal. That's a fucking phenomenal movie. I love that movie so much. When I had my movie store, one of the cover of my rental boxes actually had the silhouette from the main part of that film. Yojimbo, which is one of the best films ever made, was made as Fistful of Dollars. And The Wild Bunch, one of my favorite films of all time. It's an awesome. If you believe in true friendship, that to me, like, these guys would die for each other. And that's better than any list than that hack Larry Carino would say.
Oof. Man.
And on TV, I'm going to mention something current. M. Night Shyamalan's Servant.
Wow, I haven't heard M. Night Shyamalan in so long.
Yeah.
It has a little bit Twin Peaks vibe. Old school Twin Peaks, not the more recent.
Right. Mike, recommendations?
I don't really have any recommendations right now at this moment. I feel like I haven't really. Honestly, this sounds dreadful, but I haven't watched any TV or like read anything in like 3 weeks.
Have you eaten things?
Have I eaten things? Okay. I'll actually recommend one of our recent podcast guests. Simon Kim invited me to his friends and family for his new restaurant, Cote. And me being a very difficult guest, I have to say that I very much enjoyed our experience. I think that if anyone has heard that podcast, I think I went into it being pretty difficult with Simon, and I think I warmed up to him quickly, and I think he's an incredibly genuine host, and I think that the restaurant is very good. And I enjoyed our experience. Like, I thought the food was delicious. The service was great. Actually, our server was a former Ariat employee, which I thought was nice. And, you know, I thought it was cool. I hope that they have massive success.
Awesome. Yeah, and especially given that you're not much of a red meat guy.
I'm not a red meat guy at all, and it was all red meat. So I also think it's an incredible deal. You know, he spoke about it a lot, that Butcher's, what was it called? The Butcher's
Feast?
Butcher's Feast. It's only $54 a person, and it comes all with 5 different grades of beef, all the way up to A5 Wagyu.
Yeah, $54. That's
$54 is a deal, and it comes with like they do the whole Korean barbecue thing. They cook it at the table, and it comes with a thing. I think it's like 3 ounces of meat or 2 ounces of meat per different types of meat, and it comes with a bunch of sides and like the kimchi cabbage and the soups and the egg souffle. Like it was all delicious. I obviously go into those things knowing like it's a friends and family. It's probably going to go pretty rough. And this was the first time that I didn't experience that at all. That's why I don't like going to friends and family at all, ever. Yeah. I like to pay for the food and the thing, but I would have liked to enjoy the meal, and it was very good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Only because Domino's came up earlier, I'm going to recommend people put chicken on their pizza. That's my recommendation.
But like chicken, how?
I mean, order your pizza with grilled chicken on it.
Just grilled chicken, but not like barbecue chicken, not like fried chicken nuggets, not like all.
No, well, I mean, in particular, I'm talking about Domino's, and the only option you have there is grilled chicken.
Right.
But I've
never ventured there.
But
they have barbecue chicken pizza.
Yeah, but it's still grilled, so it's just barbecue sauce in place.
So they grill the chicken, and then they toss it in barbecue, and then they put it in.
I doubt they grill anything.
No, yeah, but you know what I mean. Like they microwave the chicken that has grill marks on it.
Yeah. I've never ordered the barbecue chicken, so I don't know if they've like replaced tomato sauce with barbecue or if they drizzle some barbecue.
So
on
what's
top.
your order? Tell me your order.
My order is the thin crust Domino's with
red sauce.
Yeah, the normal thin crust with either chicken and bacon or chicken and green pepper.
I believe they call it robust tomato sauce.
They do call it robust tomato sauce.
And the other one's marinara, right? Right?
Yeah. And actually,
and I don't know what the hell the difference is to be going on.
Well, one's robust and the other one isn't. All right.
And I'm also a fan of their chicken nugget things. So they have they have a barbecue sauce and bacon chicken nugget.
No,
thing.
I know. I've had those.
Yeah.
I also like the bread that comes with jalapeno and bacon.
Oh,
Even though I don't really
those.
like that.
Yeah,
bacon.
the cheesy breads. Yeah.
I'm
more. Listen, Domino's got to sponsor this podcast. We talk about them way too much. I don't care if David Chang likes you or not. It doesn't matter. I support you 100%. I'm a big fan of the brownie cookie thing.
Haven't had that.
You never had that?
I think I've had it.
You had it?
No.
Yeah, it's just like they take a brownie and then they drop cookies in it and they bake it.
Sounds great.
Oh, is it ever?
I don't have much of a sweet tooth, but
in
chocolate
the same
things.
bite, you can have a chocolate chip cookie and a brownie.
Oh, man.
Fuck me 6 ways
like
Sunday. Jesus Christ, I love it.
And now for shameless plugging. Sef, tell all the people where they can find you, your things, your book.
And
all
the
that.
next time you'll be on this podcast to actually talk about things that matter.
Well, I think this episode is going to be 3 episodes long. So they may be hearing me more than they think. My blog, burgerbeast.com, social media. But really go to my blog, let's be honest here.
Yeah,
go to my blog.
Trailblazers. Look up Trailblazers of Miami Food.
Don't do that. It's going to be very difficult.
The only my burger pop-ups, whenever they happen, my sauces, the guava sriracha ketchup, the honey mustard curry.
Yeah.
Those 2 sauces, which I ship nationwide, those things. And then the other thing is, which I hadn't even mentioned, the Taste of Miami book that I did with New Lane, where it involves 50 local restaurants, and all the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds, go to employees of those restaurants.
Nice.
I wrote the foreword for the book, and my recipe for my meatloaf, beast loaf, is in it.
Beast loaf?
Yeah.
Man. You're going to make some beast loaf and bring
Mike
it on
is
to the
obviously
podcast.
very interested in what's going on over here.
Beast loaf.
That's right.
Yeah.
I highly recommend the beast loaf.
You
find it on 6 in the Mix.
You could be saying that at Chug's. The beast loaf is just
We proudly serve beast loaf.
Yeah, but at Chug's we serve the Chug loaf.
We do a beast loaf patel.
We're actually going to have a meatloaf on the menu. And I'm not totally sure how that's going to what that's going to taste like yet. But I want it to be like classic meatloaf, like with mashed potatoes, peas and carrots, meatloaf, and ketchup.
I do mine so you can put them in a sandwich.
Oh, yeah?
Slice. Mayo,
Meatloaf sandwich.
not Duke's. Because that's all the chefs are like, Duke's is the best. Hellman's is the best. Hellman's
For the next
numero
paid
uno.
for Patreon segment, please tune in to hear about Burger Beast's 5 questions presented by Michael Beltran.
That's right. Shameless plugs.
All the things.
All the things. Pan Con Podcast. You can find on all the social media things at Pan Con Podcast. You can listen to it wherever. Things are also on YouTube.
Ads at dademag.com.
That's right. Ads
Reference
at dademag.com.
Pan Con Podcast.
All that stuff. and patreon.com/DADEMAG. Sef will recently joined as a patron on Patreon, and
it's amazing.
It's just a matter of time before he has a mug. He will be in the small club of people who actually now I'm the only one at this table maybe who will never, because you've seen a mug.
I've seen a mug. I've
never been in the same room as a mug.
I've seen it. Philip was here. He snuck in. He had brunch. He didn't tell me he was here. Such a nice.
Well, you know what prevented me from getting the highest tier?
What's that?
I was annoyed that it was an organic tote bag.
Organic tote bag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I was like, organic?
I don't even know what that is.
For my last shameless plug, please be on the lookout for the Petey the Dog OnlyFans.
That's right.
That will be out sometime in 2021.
It's going to be an expensive membership.
It's going to be a real expensive membership. Petey the Dog is going to be showing all of his nuggets for everybody.
It's going to get gross. And if you are a Patreon person, this doesn't end here. Stick around, and you will hear Mike's 5 ridiculous questions for Seth.
Goodbye.